the Great American Bash. And you're going to see it all live right here. 11 great matches. 5 championships will be decided here tonight at the Great American Bash. And Bob, what I think everyone came to see, will Sting be 100%? And will he realize his dream tonight against the Nature Boy, Ric Flair?
Jim, you're 100% right. This all began back in February when the Horsemen kicked Sting out of the group. When Ric Flair injured him, when they tried to put him out of wrestling for good. Thousands of questions have been asked about Sting. What kind of condition is that leg in? Can he come back? Could he come back? Well, all of those questions are going to be answered right here tonight.
Plus, Bob, we're going to see the Rock and Roll Express challenge Doom 5 times. They could be the World Tag Team Champions tonight.
Boy, wouldn't that be terrific, Jim, if that happens. And I know that a lot of fans are going to be behind them, but they've got a tough task in front of them.
Plus the North American debut of Big Van Vader, 399 pounds.
We don't know a lot about Van Vader. We just know he's big. We understand he's really rough and he's tough. Where he's from, we don't know, but we're anxious to see him in the ring.
It's going to be a great night, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest wrestling fans in the world are right here tonight in the Baltimore Arena. It's going to be pandemonium before it's all said and done. And right now, let's go up to the world's most dangerous announcer, Gary Michael Capetta.
First contest in the Great American Bash. It is set for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing in the ring from Jacksonville, Florida, weighing 243 pounds, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landel. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 227 pounds, Flying Brian.
Our first match at Starrcade 90 will be Nature Boy Buddy Landel and Flying Brian. First of 11 matches, and we're bringing it to you live, ladies and gentlemen. And Landel attempting some early intimidation, Bob, that Flying Brian refuses to accept.
Jim, this young man is a great athlete. He's been in tough wars. He's been in the football trenches before, and he's the type of youngster that you can't intimidate. He's not going to be intimidated by Buddy Landel or anybody else.
Landel, and right above us, big chops right there. Starting out very physically here at the Great American Bash. Both men exchanging right hands. Landel downstairs with a knee has the advantage at this point in time. Irish whip, but he's so quick. High cross body. This may be all right here, and Pillman got 2. Very quickly, Pillman going for the pin.
He's using that quickness and that speed, and Jim, what a great win it would be for him if he could have knocked off Landel that quick. And that may be to his advantage. He may want to try to end it as quick as possible. That way, that speed and that quickness will tell through the entire part. Landel may try to wear him down.
Bob, I erroneously mentioned in the open that we had 5 championship matches. We actually have 4. The television championship will not be defended tonight because Arn Anderson is champion in the big 6-man tag team event. Reversal by Pillman. Elevating Landel up on the lights, and a good drop kick. Caught him right in the jaw, and another one, and Landel is outside.
Well, that one exploded right on the chin. Landel went flying out of the ring. Jim, I don't recall any youngster in the short period of time coming into professional wrestling and advancing any further than has this young man, Flying Brian.
You want some more of me, boy?
I think he had plenty of him right there.
Landel posing to this very unsympathetic crowd here in Baltimore. The physique is not Landel's forte.
No, but I tell you, he can call on a world of experience, Jim. He's been in the ring many, many times. He's been in against a lot of great ones, and if there's anything in his corner, anything that you have to favor him over Flying Brian, it would be the experience factor.
You're exactly right, Bob. Flying Brian, All-American nose guard and All-American linebacker, Miami of Ohio, great athlete in college. Played for the Cincinnati Bengals, as we've documented before, won the Ed Block Courage Award as the most courageous Bengal. Played on the specialty team, so he gave it all for Cincinnati at that point in time. Also played for the Buffalo Bills and the Calgary Stampeders.
Jim, and those fellas that play on the specialty teams, they don't lack for courage, that's for sure.
They are a different breed, I'll tell you that. And Landell pulled the hair there out of the view of referee Mike Atkins.
Well, this is not where Bryan wants to be. He wants to be on his feet because he wants to use that quickness. He knows he's got the quickness advantage and the speed advantage on Landell.
Landell using his bulk to muscle Pillman into the corner and slapped him right in the face.
Well, that's an insult.
Landell using the referee to shield himself. Landell's a very arrogant individual, in case you haven't noticed. Collar and elbow tie up in the middle of the ring. Pillman with the advantage with the wrist lock. Bryan's got those Cincinnati Bengal tights on, and there's a thumb to the eye, it would appear. Big chop there by Landell. And Pillman up and over, sunset flip. Landell almost off balance, but the right hand caught Pillman.
Boy, you got to always be on guard against Buddy Landell. That thumb is an example of it. He's going to attack you any and every way he can, Jim. And if he gets the advantage, you're in trouble.
He's got a PhD in shortcuts, but right there's a good adjustment in midair to catch Flying Bryan and execute the backbreaker.
That's his Mr. Atlas pose, I guess, there.
Is that the before or the after shot?
You mean when he was the 99-pounder?
Landell with that wrestling boot squarely in the face of Flying Bryan here at the Great American Bash. Pillman's neck over that bottom rope.
Well, he's beginning to pound and really go after Flying Bryan right now is Buddy Landell. Jim, if he can wear him down, beat on him, bang on him, and pound on him like he's doing, that may tell on him. It may slow him down.
Pillman is very resilient, though, Bob. And he went for a high-risk move there that did not pay off. Went for the drop kick, and he's a master at it, but it didn't have any effect there. He never hit anybody. Lateral press, there's a near fall. Now Landell back on top, the leg grapevine this time, but Pillman gets his right shoulder up. Landell has the advantage in size. 243 to 227.
And over a period of time, Jim, the longer the match continues, that advantage and that weight advantage will begin to tell more and more.
Fans here getting into it early here in Baltimore. Outstanding crowd, fans from all over the United States and Canada. Reporters here from Japan. An international flavor here in Baltimore this week.
Good reversal. Oh, wow.
But there's that 16-pound weight differential. Put on the brakes. And 1, 2, and Pillman again got this time the left shoulder up.
Well, that was close. The referee had that hand in the air ready to come down with that third count.
Landell's shin bone right across the throat of Pillman. Mike Atkins calling for the break. He got it. And Flying Bryan fights back. 3 big blows to the midsection, a couple of chops there, and now forces Landell back to the corner. Succession of right hands, but Landell reversed it. Good move by Landell to the high velocity Irish whip there. I think it caught Pillman a little off balance. It surprised me, Bob.
Well, he had a lot of steam behind it. He really whipped Bryan into the corner and into the rope, and a tremendous chop.
Both men really letting it all go right here. They're both their chests becoming very red from those chops that they've been nailing each other with. Snapmare by Landell into the reverse chin lock. He has grounded Flying Bryan temporarily.
Well, Bryan hasn't been able to put any of those moves that he's so famous for on Landell and been able to get many drop kicks off. Landell's had him on the mat a lot of the time during the match.
Landell with a version of a neck vice there. Interesting position now back into the more traditional maneuver, the reverse chin lock. Landell has his weight on the trapezius muscles of Flying Bryan. We're happy to be working tonight with our colleague Gordon Soley, who we'll be going to in a few moments. Gordon will be interviewing the stars here tonight at the Great American Bash. And Flying Bryan now showing some offense, but only for a short time, as the experienced Landell nails him with a knee coming off the ropes and went for the pin, got 2.5.
Boy, several times now he's been just that close. the count of 2, 2.5 a number of times. Jimmy's beginning, it looks like, to wear Bryan down. He's had that weight on him. He gets him on the mat. Bryan has to use a lot of strength and a lot of energy to get out of those holds, and Landell gets him in when he gets him off his feet.
Landell using a succession of maneuvers that will lessen the mobility of Flying Bryan. Another big chop, and Pillman fights back. Landell with a boot to the midsection. Now Landell going for a vertical suplex. He's got him up and drops him with it. Not sure if it didn't hurt Landell almost as much as it did Pillman.
Yeah, you had him high into the air, no doubt. And when they came down, they both came hard to the mat, and they're both stunned right now.
Referee Mike Atkins will use a 10 count. That's what they have. One of the men to get to their feet. Landell has beaten the count. And then another big chop to Pillman, and Pillman nails him back.
I think it's been a typical Landell match, Jim. He wants to brawl and maul you if he can, but I don't think Bryan has wrestled a typical Flying Bryan match.
Flying Bryan has not been able to really kick it in gear as far as the up-tempo style he likes. And he's going fisticuffs with Landell, which might not be the soundest strategy for Bryan. That's not his forte.
Right.
Again, Landell for the ride. But Landell caught Pillman coming in. Flying Bryan at a breakneck pace there. Came in a little carelessly, and he was nailed by the forearm by Landell.
Both of them again on the mat, and again we got the count on both of them, and we're at 4. But quickly now, here's Landell back to his feet, and he's back on the attack. He's been on the attack now a major portion of the match.
Landell misses with that clothesline. High cross body. Landell rolls through. Landell's going to try to hold him. I thought he had it, and it was 2.5. Oh, so close, Bob. Very, very close.
Beautiful move on the part of Landell to roll right on through that, and I'm like you. I thought he had Flying Bryan pinned.
Landell held on to the ropes. And Flying Bryan, he stopped on the apron. Landell thought he went all the way out. High cross body from the top. 1, 2, 3, and Flying Bryan has won it over Landell.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your winner, Flying Bryan.
A fast-paced opening contest here at the Bash.
And Jim, watch it again, and fans, look at this tremendous move. That flying body press off of that top rope by Flying Bryan with a count of 3 and the win over Buddy Landell.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dean of Wrestling Commentators is standing by. Let's go now to Gordon Solie.
Thank you very much, Jim, and let me add my welcome to all of you to the Great American Bash. And of course, the eyes of the wrestling world are focused right now on a great event that's going to take place later tonight, and that will be the match between Ric Flair and Sting, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. I might also point out, we'll be seeing for the first time 399-pound Van Vader. The El Gante is here and a host of others. Now, let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is set for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first from Iran, weighing 281 pounds, the Iron Sheik. His opponent from Syracuse, New York, weighing 236 pounds, Captain Mike Rotunda.
Captain Mike Rotunda, and he's nailed from behind by the Iron Sheik. And the Sheik, who was a silver medal winner in the Mexico City Olympics for Iran, attacking the former Syracuse University All-American Mike Rotunda, but just as the bell sounded, Bob.
Well, Rotunda hasn't even been able to get his jacket off. The Sheik came quickly behind him with that pole on that flag. Then he took the jacket around the throat. Rotunda is reeling already.
Rotunda unable to take his ring jacket off thus far, as the Iron Sheik perhaps trying to go for the best offense he can. That's the early attack, as Rotunda, in my opinion, is the favorite in this contest.
Well, he's a great athlete. He was a two-sport star at Syracuse, that we know. He's been a tremendous professional wrestler. There's no doubt the Sheik, this is what the Sheik wants to do. Slow it down if he can, pound away at him, get Rotunda, who's certainly got an advantage when it comes to the speed and quickness over the Sheik, but I'm not so sure that he's able to match the Sheik in the power category.
Both these men in the sport of wrestling hold as many amateur accolades as any athlete that I think has ever stepped in the squared circle. Rotunda, a great two-sport star at Syracuse, but getting off to a very slow start thanks to the attack by the Iron Sheik just as the bell was sounding. He misses with a clothesline. Captain Mike up and over. There's a sunset flip, 1-2, and the Sheik kicks out. Scoop slam by Captain Mike. Now the tide is turning.
Yes, sir. And Rotunda, who really doesn't want to get into a test of power against the Sheik, now beginning to show that athletic ability.
The Iron Sheik getting a little hot for him. After he made his terrorist attack, I'm sure he thought things would certainly go his way at that juncture, but Mike Rotunda using that up-tempo style.
And Jim, I know all of the fans would love to see Rotunda get this big guy in the airplane spin.
Rotunda was an ECAC conference champion at Syracuse, wrestled for the New York Athletic Club. 8-year pro, certainly giving up a lot of experience to the veteran Iron Sheik, Bob.
That's right, but of course Rotunda, he has experience also, Jim. He's been the former World Tag Team Champion, also the World Television Champion, and he held that television championship for many months.
Iron Sheik wants to slow it down. I think that's going to be his modus operandi here. Rotunda needs to keep the match moving.
That's smart on the Sheik's part, and Rotunda doesn't want to let it do that. He doesn't want to wrestle the Sheik's match. Make the Sheik come to him.
You can hear the impact of those blows, and the Sheik rakes the eyes. Right hand, the side of the head of Rotunda. The Iron Sheik rams Rotunda's head into his own, that very unorthodox wrestling boot he wears.
And they got a point on that. He's got a point on each one of those. And I've never been close to those points, Jim. They may be hard, they may be metal. I don't know what those points are.
Iron Sheik side gut wrench salto suplex. Floats on top, lateral press, and Rotunda barely kicks out. Sheik, especially in the younger part of his career, was really a master of the suplex. And now the abdominal stretch, trying to get it executed. Doesn't quite have it locked in. He's just about got it there.
Well, it looks like Rotunda, realizing that, is trying to get to the ropes, and that's going to be his best move here, if he can, to get to the ropes to break it.
Or get underneath and try to hip lock out of it.
Yeah, one or the other. Well, and the Sheik now in the ropes.
Referee Randy Anderson will call for the break. A little improvised officiating there. Rotunda hip locks out of it and drops the elbow heavily on the Iron Sheik. Goes to the ropes again, and the Sheik moves out of the way as Rotunda hits nothing but canvas.
And that was a mistake on Rotunda's part. You don't usually see that from Mike Rotunda. He always wrestles a smart match.
Clubbing right hand by the Sheik, who apparently has forsaken his amateur background, going for just some clubbing tactics here thus far. And as I say that, he belly to back suplexes Rotunda. Crawls on top.
I think he's got Rotunda a little befuddled, Jim, and I think it all began even before the opening bell when he came out with that sneak attack on Rotunda.
Captain Mike has been unable to really get out of the blocks except for a short flurry of offense. Iron Sheik now hammers away. Rotunda fights back. All-American right hands. The man from Tehran, Iran now in a lot of trouble. Rotunda has pretty much thrown his amateur background out the window as well.
Boy, I tell you, it took a number of them, but he kept landing those right hands, and the Sheik finally went down. You got to say one thing for the big guy. He doesn't have a glass chin, that's for sure.
281. Again, raking the eyes. Blatant infraction of the rules. Iron Sheik going for a suplex here. Rotunda trying to block it. Rotunda widening out his base, and he blocked it there. Good suplex by Rotunda, both men down. Rotunda crawls on top. Superior conditioning by Captain Mike, I would think, Bob, at this juncture in the match.
Well, he rolled over, he covered him with that press. He hooked the leg, but he still couldn't hold him in. The Sheik still had too much. But Rotunda very wisely now, quickly back to the attack again.
Rotunda tossed outside by the Iron Sheik. The Sheik spends a lot of time taunting the crowd, and I don't understand the logic exactly behind that, if there is any.
And, you know, the pounding that Rotunda has taken, it's bound to begin to tell on you. It's got to slow you down, but the Sheik
as you say, while he's doing what he's doing right now, it's giving Rotunda time to regroup.
Rotunda outweighed 36 pounds in this match. As the Sheik's going to bring him back in with a suplex. Lateral press. Didn't secure the legs whatsoever, and Rotunda was able to kick out. Ooh, that was a big shot, Bob.
Boy, he is still throwing some heavy blows. They've been heavy ones since the bout began.
Double arm suplex attempted. Rotunda, nice reversal by Captain Mike. Rotunda trying to get underneath the Iron Sheik to get him on his shoulders. He may hold him there. 1, 2, 3. He got him. He got him. Rotunda with a great wrestling move pins the Iron Sheik.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your winner, Captain Mike Rotunda.
Captain Mike Rotunda with a hard-fought victory. I mean, he earned that one. Ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Solie is standing by with Harley Race. Let's go to Gordon.
Well, thank you, Jim, and we do have Harley Race coming out here in just a moment. 7 times world heavyweight champion going up against a former world champion in Tommy Wildfire Rich. That happens tonight, and I know that you have some rather bitter memories about Tommy Wildfire.
That's right, Gordon. He's one of the people that beat me for the world's title during the 7 times that I held it. But I'm going to take care of Rich in my own way. And then I'm going to be right out here with the rest of you people watching this world's title match. And Gordon, you know that I haven't made a lot of predictions in wrestling, and most of them have come true. If Ric Flair is not on his toes tonight, he's going to get beat.
You really feel strongly that Sting might be a new champion then?
Just like I said, if Flair is not up for the task, he may be a beaten man here tonight. I know Tommy Rich is a beaten man.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, it is set for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first to my right from Oil Trough, Texas, weighing 235 pounds, Dirty Dutch Mantell. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Knoxville, Tennessee, weighing 260 pounds, the world's strongest man, Doug Furnas.
Doug Furnas and Dirty Dutch Mantell will square off here at the Great American Bash. We're live in the Baltimore Arena.
Jim, since you're a Southwesterner, tell me, where in the world is Oil Trough, Texas?
Bob, you know, I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm not really that familiar with Texas, but I think it's out in the western part of the state. I'm not real sure about that, though. Mantell and Doug Furnas, quite a contrast in styles. Mantell, a real veteran. You can tell he's not real concerned about his appearance. Side headlock there, and Furnas, holder of so many world records in powerlifting. Strongest man in the world, over 27 world records in strength.
That's right. And I tell you, you've got to expect and you got to know that Furnas is going to use that power and that strength in this match against Dirty Dutch Mantell. He's going to call on that power and strength. That's his forte.
Mantell has got to hope, in my estimation, that Doug Furnas makes a mistake here and the veteran can capitalize on it. Whoa, what a football tackle. And Mantell almost knocked all the way out of the ring here.
Well, Mantell is a smart veteran. What he's got to do if he's going to win this match really is outwit Furnas. And one thing about Mantell, Jim, and I'm sure Furnas is aware of it, he'll resort to anything to win. He's going to do anything he can to come out of this match a winner.
Mantell's got a ZZ Top like beard and mustache there, a little out of kilter. Needs a little trim, Bob. I'm sure he's not too concerned about what I think of his facial hair.
Yeah, his mustache and his beard about as long as his hair, and they're both long.
Not to mention the hair on his back.
You can hardly tell where his hair starts and ends, can you?
Furnace drops down. Great quickness by this youngster. High leapfrog. He's 260 with all the agility that you could possess.
Boy, that'll surprise you.
Get great agility. Look at this kid. Whoop, man. And Mantell thought he had it stopped. But Furnace blocks it and takes him straight up. This kid is a package of dynamite. Junior college football All-American. Played football at University of Tennessee for Johnny Majors. He was a real horse in college, and he's a real horse in the pros.
Well, he had Mantell, and he just pressed him high in the air, and then just threw him halfway across the ring, hard into the corner. And the world's strongest man now is showing Dutch Mantell, hey, man, I got the power and I got the strength. Come on, man, let's mix it up.
Mantell's lower back already taking the pounding. I think he hurt himself whenever he got nailed that football tackle early in the match. Collar and elbow tie up again, and Mantell forces Doug Furnace back into the corner.
Uh-oh. Ooh, that was a mistake. I'll guarantee you that was a mistake.
One thing about Doug Furnace, he's got a very short fuse, and he's not got that much experience. So if he gets off his game plan and gets to thinking more than reacting, he could be in trouble here. That's what Mantell hopes, I would think.
Don't want to lose his head. I tell you, if he loses his temper so that he's not thinking clearly, not knowing what's going on in the ring, he's going to play right into Mantell's hands.
Again, Mantell, that's an intimidation factor, and referee Mike Atkins trying to restrain Furnace. Furnace said that's twice he slapped me in the face. You know, the thing about it, unless you're on the ropes, it's a legal move.
Well, twice the referee has been right there, too, to stop Furnace from coming back when he was going to go with that right hand. Yeah, Jim, that hand is open. It wasn't a closed fist, and again he did.
Mantell's got a plan of some sort, and he slaps the left hand. He got it. And now the world's strongest man up on the second turnbuckle, now up on the top turnbuckle, backflips out of there. Mantell a little bewildered, and he's nailed right in the jaw of the drop kick.
The drop kick cut him a flip, and Mantell, he says, let me get out of here, quickly out of the ring. Now he needs to regroup.
That's like a ball carrier stepping out of bounds before he's about to be tackled.
Boy, he lit the fuse in Furnace, and the bomb went off.
As I mentioned before, Doug Furnace will be always be the most second famous athlete ever to come from Commerce, Oklahoma. Because number 7 for the Yankees
I was going to say Mickey Mantle, right?
Came from there.
Yeah. Is that right, Jim? Did I get that one right?
You got that right, Bob. Nice wrist lock by Furnace. And he puts a new perspective on a wrist lock because he's so strong.
Man, he can take that arm and he can make it go in a way it's not supposed to go. He's going to be reaching around in a different way to grab something with that hand if he's not careful.
Mantell missed with that clothesline. Nice cross body by Doug Furnace, but Mantell kicks out. And a good arm drag takeover. This kid not only is he the strongest man in the world, he's one of the quickest athletes in the World Championship Wrestling.
Well, he's showing you some great quickness and some great agility to go with that tremendous power. Jim, when you take a package like that and you bundle it into an athlete like Doug Furnace, boy, you got a tremendous athlete in that ring, and this guy's career, I'm sure, is going to go up, up, up. No way but up for Doug Furnace.
Mantell would like to have something to say about that, however, during this tremendous event. This is the wrestling pay-per-view of the summer, and we thank you very much for allowing us to come into your homes or wherever it may be.
We got a number of great matches to follow, Jim, and of course the one that the entire country and the entire wrestling world has been waiting on is the return of Sting.
Bob, that's going to be something. This place, the roof will come off this building, you could almost think. And Doug Furnace fighting back with several right hands, scooping Mantell up very easily. Now the youngster from Knoxville, Tennessee, climbing to the top. Mantell moves out of the way. The KG veteran from Oil Trough, Texas, had an eye on Doug Furnace and moved out of the way. I think that saved him there.
Boy, if Furnace had landed with all of that weight and as high as he got into the air, he could have made a greasy spot on the canvas of Dutch Mantell. Wow.
Nice short clothesline. High impact move by Mantell on top of the lateral press, but Need I say more?
Jim, he went about 4 or 5 feet in the air. Boy, that's power.
This kid is unbelievably strong, I'll tell you. I've mentioned this story. The first time I saw him, he was a high school football player. High school senior. He and his brother both All-Staters in Oklahoma. Man, what a fullback he was. Tacklers bounced off of him like a run into a tank.
Oh, I can imagine.
Let's put it this way. When it was 3rd and 1, we knew who was going to carry the ball. Mantell, overhand wrist lock there. Dutch now slowing it down. Even the strongest man in the world, strength is lessened immensely when he's not on a vertical base.
Well, and not only that, but if Mantell can get him hurt, if he can injure an arm, if he can injure a leg, that'll help slow him down also. And as you mentioned before, the wily veteran that Dutch Mantell is, Mantell knows all the tricks.
Mantell holding on to that arm for dear life, and he rakes the eyes. Mantell blatantly breaking the rules. Perhaps he feels like that's his best route to success. And Furnace tossed outside.
Mantell's going to go out after him. I don't know that that's wise.
Short clothesline by Mantell outside the ring. Both men in danger of being counted out here.
I'll tell you, that short clothesline, that's a move that Mantell really executes well. Twice he's hit Furnace with it, and twice he's taken him down.
Doug Furnace trying to shake it loose, get it back together here. Mantell now, if he is as sound mentally, I mean that, speaking of strategy, as I think he is, then nice snap suplex. He's going to go for a pin right here. And indeed he is, on top of the lateral press. Whoa, good Lord, this kid's strong.
He almost threw him out of the ring. Can you believe that?
Fell right on top of the referee. Mantell now with that wide base. He's got a handful of tights we can see from our vantage point. Referee in front. There's a good Kramer shot, taking you right inside the ring.
Furnace is going to make Mantell come up with some other move other than that body press, Jim, when he gets him on the mat.
Again, Mantell using the tights for leverage and lying to the referee as he was asked.
That's a big arm and a big shoulder, but he's got a lot of leverage in that, and with that leverage he can really work on it. Goes back to the tights again to get a little more leverage on it.
Notice the position of Mantell's feet, the very wide base. He may be a little remiss. He needs to get back in that wide base position. Talking to the referee, may get him pinned right here, and Furnace could not hold him.
Heading for the count of 2, almost a pin. That wasn't a smart move on Mantell's part.
Nice clothesline there by Doug Furnace. I'm sure they're watching back in Knoxville, Tennessee for this tremendous athlete from the University of Tennessee. Sends Mantell for the ride. Power slam, and man, he nails him. The power moves now are flowing for Doug Furnace, and Mantell may be in trouble, but the resourceful veteran tried to kick there, and Furnace blocked it.
He really telegraphed that move. Mantell saw that one about the time that Furnace had decided that's what he was going to do.
Mantell nailed there, but kick right over the heart. And then rakes the eyes again. That's about his best offensive move thus far, is the short clothesline and a rake of the eyes.
That's the big equalizer, of course, the eyes.
Mantell's got an up-tempo mode here. That may be his problem. Furnace outquicks him. He's got him locked in. Mantell's helpless. Snap, belly-to-belly suplex, leg grapevine, and Doug Furnace has won this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, the world's strongest man, Doug Furnace.
World's strongest man with a victory here, ladies and gentlemen. Bob, this is a great belly-to-belly.
Belly-to-belly, and he had it locked in tight, that belly-to-belly suplex. Then all he had to do was hook the leg, cover him with a press. No way that Mantell was going to kick out of it. 1, 2, 3, the winner, Doug Furnace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Solie standing by with the manager of the United States Tag Team Champions, James E. Cornette. Now back to you, Gordon.
Thank you, Jim. And yes, Mr. Cornette is with me. Your men put the titles on the line tonight against the Southern Boys.
You know, this is a big night for professional wrestling. You got the Junkyard Dog, Paul Orndorff, and El Gigante taking on the Horsemen in six-man tag team action. You got Sting trying to prove to the whole world, is he really able to beat the greatest wrestler in the world, Nature Boy Ric Flair? Then you got the Southern Boys. You know, Steve Armstrong wanted to be a country star, except he had to give up singing because of his throat. Somebody threatened to cut it. So now they're wrestlers, and they say they're pretty good ones. Well, I tell you something, Southern Boys, when you sit back there in that dressing room, I want you to look yourselves in the mirror, and I want you to ask yourselves a question. Are we big enough? Are we bad enough? Are we mean enough? Tough enough? Have we got guts enough to get in that ring and take a tag team championship away from the Midnight Express? Because every great team in wrestling over the years have tried. Very few have succeeded, and those that did knew that they were in the fight of their life. The Midnight Express are the best in the world at what they do. And Southern Boys, you may be champions one day, but not this day.
Now back to Gary Capetta in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest featuring two great former World Heavyweight Champions. It is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing 220 pounds, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. His opponent from Kansas City, Missouri, weighing 249 pounds, Harley Race.
As you heard Harley Race's comments earlier, there is certainly no love lost with he and Tommy Wildfire Rich, the former seven-time world's champion.
Well, Rich was one of those that defeated Race for the championship one time, Jim.
What a great feud they had. Side headlock by Rich. Nice football tackle. Race up very quickly, but Rich puts him back on his back again. And Harley Race with that big left clothesline. Misses with the elbow, however. And a scoop slam by Wildfire. Match starting out very quickly. I don't think either one can maintain this pace for that long, Bob.
I was going to say, Jim, the way they have come out and as quick as they've gone, I don't know, conditioning certainly will be a factor in that. They're both well experienced. You know, Rich says, though, Jim, that he's lost some weight and that he's in the best condition that he's been in years. He's quicker. He says he's got more stamina and that he's had no loss of power by losing that weight.
Bobby, when he came back, he weighed 248, wrestling for World Championship Wrestling. We're talking about Tommy Rich. Weighed in this afternoon at 220. Those 28 pounds have certainly made him much more competitive in my estimation. And Harley Race, what can you say about this man? He has done it all in the sport of wrestling and still one of the toughest competitors around. Race, shoulder first to the post.
All the way through the ropes, and he went all the way to the post on that shoulder. Jim, the way the match has started off and the quickness and the speed that they're wrestling, this match really may turn on conditioning. That may be the deciding factor.
Harley Race has literally been wrestling all his life. Had his first match at age 15. Earned his first paycheck in wrestling before he got his driver's license. Big knee right there, the jaw of Tommy Wildfire Rich. One thing about Harley Race, there'll be no wasted motion with him. The veteran just nailed Rich with that pile driver, and Rich from that impact all the way bounced back up to his feet and falls outside the ring.
Now they're out of the ring.
Rich has that great boiling point, but right now it's Race suplexes Rich out on the runway here. Harley Race trying to get it over early. One would think that the cardiovascular advantage would go with the younger man, Tommy Rich.
I think that's wise.
Gosh.
Wise on the part of Race. Race says, I'm going to go in, I'm going to give it all in the opening minutes. I'm going to try to wrap it up. I'm going to try to beat him in a hurry.
Harley Race
senses, Jim, if it goes too long, it would certainly be in Rich's favor.
Race jerking down on the neck of Tommy Rich. Our first championship match will be up right after this for the United States Tag Team Championship. Headbutt by Harley Race on Tommy Rich. Outside goes Rich.
Jim, you talked about that U.S. tag title match. There's a tag team right there that I'm really impressed with. Two youngsters that I think have really come on strong. And that's the Southern boys, the wild-eyed Southern boys.
Outstanding duo, Bob. You're exactly right. And Rich for the right hands, Race for the left hands. Ooh! Race clotheslined all the way over the top rope. I think his head cracked right against the ring apron as he went over.
That's right. I was going to say, when he went over, Jim, right on his head, and he hit hard right on the apron of the ring, right on his head.
Another right hand by Tommy Rich. And now Rich slams Race outside. Tommy Rich upset Harley Race in what many say was the upset of the decade in 1981, whenever Tommy won the World's Heavyweight Championship from Harley. So there's been a lot of bad feelings mustering and festering between these two for quite some time.
Well, Tommy Rich has wrestled many a great match, but Jim, he'll tell you he never wrestled a greater match than he did on that night.
Exactly right. April 27th, 1981, and Tommy Rich with that right hand off the second turnbuckle. Rich on top, trying to grapevine the leg, but Harley Race, the veteran from Kansas City, kicks out. He must be a fan of the Sacramento Kings. That outfit on.
You got that crown, hasn't it?
Knee lift by Race. And now Tommy Rich, who we have seen really on a hot streak in recent weeks. Belly-to-belly suplex by Race. And Wildfire now must regroup. He kicks out of the lateral press. Straight clothesline by Race. He measured him and nailed him.
Boy, I tell you, he came back, as you say, and he measured that perfectly, and he put it exactly where he wanted it, and he had all of the power and stamina behind it. Tremendous blow.
Perfectly executed neck breaker by the master of it, Harley Race, and Race quickly back up to his feet. He's got a deadly left hand.
And Race has got it all going his way now.
Rich fights back. He nails Race. This has been a real slugfest, Bob.
And the pace of the match, I think, has been outstanding. And I think surprising in the fact that it has been, that the pace has been as up-tempo as it has been.
Big knee lift by Tommy Rich. Race in trouble now on the ropes, literally. But the veteran with a headbutt. Tommy left his stomach area exposed there, and Race took advantage.
Jim, that's where the...
Oh. Both men over the top rope. Referee Randy Pee Wee Anderson says no disqualification, but both men could be counted out here. Race with the left hand. Rich trying to fight his way back in. Referee's going to give him the chance to get in. Tommy's going up top very quickly. Race turns around. There's Rich off the top rope. Race rolls through it. Race is going to hold the leg, and Harley Race has beat Tommy Rich.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, Harley Race.
Well, in my book, as crazy as it sounds, I think it's an upset.
I got to say, Jim, I was going to say, I got to call that one an upset. And watch this move. As Tommy Rich comes off with that flying press, Race rolled right on through the move, rolled right on over, hooked the leg, had him covered, 1, 2, 3, no way Rich could kick out.
Great veteran move, and now Gordon Solie standing by with Paul E. Dangerously and Mean Mark. They'll challenge for the U.S. title.
All right, the U.S. title does go on the line. The total package defending against Mean Mark. Paulie Dangerously is here. How confident are you?
Well, first of all, let me just say that tonight, Nature Boy Ric Flair is going to prove that he is the greatest heavyweight champion of all time when he knocked Sting out of contention. And the heir apparent to that throne, Mean Mark Callis, tonight will take Lex Luger. And you know, speaking of Luger, I got this, I don't know if it's a t-shirt or if it's toilet paper, and it shows Lex about to flex. You know, Lex, the first time you do this against this man, he's gonna rip your stinking head off and spit right down your throat because you never will be half the man that this man is. You never will be the U.S. champion that this man can be when you go home to your family tonight.
Well, we'll find out later now. Let's go back to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the United States Tag Team Championship. It is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing first the challengers from the heartlands of the South, Tracy Smothers, Steve Armstrong, the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys.
Wild-Eyed Southern Boys that challenge the Midnight Express. We talk about up-tempo matches. This one will set the standard perhaps tonight for that.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents, soon to be making their way toward the ring, are the United States Tag Team Champions, Beautiful Bobby, Sweet Stan, the Midnight Express!
There you see referee Mike Atkins displaying the United States Tag Team Championship belts that will be decided in this contest. Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong hold a victory over the Midnight Express just prior to the duo managed by Jim Cornette winning the United States Tag Team Championship from Flying Brian and Z-Man.
They've had tremendous success in the NWA.
Well, the Midnight Express trying to get the early advantage as Steve Armstrong nailed from behind and goes all the way outside, and Sweet Stan and Beautiful Bobby showing their dominance early. And they go right outside after the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, and we've got a real brawl on the outside at the very outset of this contest.
I'm not surprised that they attacked them, but I'm surprised the way they went at it.
Wow, he put him up in the lights. Armstrong and Smothers, 3.5 years together as a tag team and a double shoulder block. And Beautiful Bobby nailed. Sweet Stan knocked off the apron.
Bobby is really hurt. He hurt that shoulder outside of the ring. The Southern Boys have been on a roll, Jim. They marched right through all the competition so far. They've been very, very impressive.
Why don't you sit down and wipe that ugly off your face, you stinking pig-faced moron?
You got to be careful, though, when you're in against the Midnight Express. Not only are they United States Tag Team Champions right now, Jim, but as a combination, they form one of the greatest all-around athletic teams in the sport of professional wrestling, and they're the only team to hold the world title and the U.S. title at the same time.
Nice arm drag takeover by Steve Armstrong. Both men very quickly are back up to that vertical base we've been talking about. Lane and Eaton there you see, you look at them talking over a little bit of strategy. Bobby Eaton, a Huntsville, Alabama native, 10-year pro. Bobby has got Armstrong in the corner. Right hand by Eaton. And another straight right hand. You can see that one very clearly. Scoop slam by Beautiful Bobby, who now, he likes to go to the top rope.
A high flyer, he's certainly that.
Armstrong meets him with a blow to the midsection, slams him off the top rope. Nice leapfrog by Armstrong. Uh-oh. Bobby caught him, but only for a moment. Left jabs by the youngest Armstrong. His father and brothers both are all wrestlers as well. Good drop kick there.
The Southern Boys, Jim, are both big, 6'2", 235 pounds, but they move like much smaller men in the ring.
Big clothesline off the top rope. Great move there by Stevie Armstrong. These kids have won several regional titles. They've competed all over the world, Bob.
That's right, Jim. They've wrestled in Japan, Mexico, Singapore, Malaysia, the Bahamas, and Canada. And they sort of combine the different styles of several of those countries into their style of wrestling. They got some of the Japanese style mixed in, the Mexican style, as well as the American style. You got to think that man right there, Jim Cornette, is going to figure in this match some way before it's over.
He certainly is a master strategist. In my opinion, the best in wrestling today is Jim Cornette. He's the best manager of modern time. Nice double team move there by the wild-eyed Southern boys. And beautiful Bobby has gone the distance thus far for his team. And Bobby likes to start it out and control the tempo, set the pace, but thus far, wild-eyed Southern boys seemingly are about a half a step ahead.
Well, that's right. When you look at them and when you match them up, you got to say that they compare very favorably in size. Their speed and their quickness, you got to say, is even. Both of them are top-flight, top-notch teams. The only thing you can figure may go one way or the other is the experience factor in the corner of the Midnight Express. And Jim, I think we can have an upset right here. I think the Southern boys can walk away with the championship.
Smothers goes behind and nails Eaton. And a savate kick there. Great move there.
Eaton needs to make a tag. He needs to get, he's into the corner. He needs to get out and get a breather. As you say, he's been taking a pounding. I don't know, Cornette was hollering something at you, Jim. Something was not legal. I don't know what he said.
He said karate wasn't legal in pro wrestling.
Oh, okay. I couldn't figure out what he was talking about, but he says karate is not legal. Well, we've seen the Midnight Express use and do a number of things that are not legal in professional wrestling.
Like Cornette's tennis racket, for one thing. Stan Lane uses martial arts tactics at every opportunity. They are legal, as a matter of fact, in case you fans are confused. The thing about listening to Jim Cornette is listen to what he has to say and then discount it about 50%. And you're pretty well close to the truth.
Let it go one ear right out the other. Don't pay any attention to it.
Nice reverse of the Irish whip by Tracy Smothers. He elevates beautiful Bobby. And another savate kick caught Eaton right in the face. And the wild-eyed Southern boys on their first ever pay-per-view appearance.
I think they're showing the country, the nation, and all the professional wrestling fans just why we've been so impressed with them, Jim. This is the way they've wrestled in every match that we've seen them in. Oh, okay. Cornette says now we'll match karate with karate. Hey, he's gonna stretch that leg and get it in working order now.
Lane has a black belt degree in karate. He, as a matter of fact, was a karate instructor at one time.
Hey, this could be interesting now.
Lane with a karate blow with a fist. Fans thought they were only going to see 11 wrestling matches. Lane blocked the move. Lane showing that great martial arts prowess. Damaging blows to the ribs. But this time Smothers catches that foot and nails Lane. And thrust kicks him and nails Eaton right in the face again. That's 3 times in the face for Bobby Eaton. Cornette is beside himself, and that is a large pair.
Lane outside the ring, Eaton over in the corner, staggering and reeling from that blow, stumbling along the rope.
Cornette grabbing his heart, one of those Fred Sanford-like seizures.
He thought he was going to have the big one because he thought it was all over right there.
Cornette with his tennis racket on his back of his tuxedo. Wrestling's premier manager in the eyes of many. Also, he would just as soon go on a diet as lose these titles. We know how apt that is to happen.
Oh, he's going to do anything he can. And as we say so many times in the matches, it's Cornette that manages to turn the match in his team's favor.
Good drop toe hold by Stan Lane, floated over. And Tracy Smothers reversed into the hammerlock. Great move there by Smothers, and Lane rakes the eyes and tags in beautiful Bobby Eaton, whose arm drag to the canvas.
Two of the most athletic tag team gyms that we've seen in a long, long time. These two teams in there right now.
Smothers with the arm bar on beautiful Bobby.
I think you got to say that the Wild-Eyed Southern boys, they really had the Midnight Express scouted very well.
Right hand by Eaton. Sharp rights.
You don't think it's a possibility that the Midnight Express took this bout a little too lightly, do you, Jim?
I don't think so, Bob. I think they're prepared. I just think that the Southern boys are genuinely that good. And Smothers now, high risk move here. Flips back in the ring. Both feet roll. Man. Bobby Eaton must feel like a punching bag. Now what Stan Lane is doing now is telling the referee that there was something in the boot. Tracy Smothers relaxed, and he relaxed at the wrong time.
Sucker punched him is what Lane did.
Exactly right, that's what it was. Double elbow by the Midnight Express. Armstrong nailed as he was standing on the apron. Smothers obeys the point though. Armstrong off the top! Man, he was in orbit.
Took them both down.
The Southern boys trying to pin them both.
Almost had them both pinned.
The champions' heads rammed together. And the United States Tag Team Championship is certainly in jeopardy here.
We're going to have to put Cornette in a straitjacket.
He'll be drinking decaf for a month after this one.
Most impressive are the Wild-Eyed Southern boys in this match.
Eaton and Lane, been around 10 years. Both guys in their late 20s. And I'll tell you something, they know that they have indeed been in the ring with the greatest teams in wrestling. As you said, Bob, they are the only team in wrestling history to be the world champs and the U.S. champs simultaneously. But they are finding a red-hot team here. And sometimes you see that. They're like streak players in basketball. They're hot right now.
That's right. We say they've been on a roll since they've been in the NWA, and that's exactly right. No team right now is hotter than the Wild-Eyed Southern boys.
Smothers up and over, blind tag. Smothers did not know about the tag. Going over the top rope as Cornette had the referee distracted. And now Stan Lane's the one doing the damage. Viciously ramming Smothers into the steel barricade here. First Smothers went over the top rope, landed on the floor on his back. And then Lane quickly seized the opportunity while the referee was still detained with Cornette to send Smothers for the ride. And there you see young Smothers. Springfield, Tennessee, just got nailed by Jim Cornette.
Cornette with a racket. First it was that steel cage, and he almost knocked it into the crowd. He hit it with such tremendous force. And then Cornette now with a tennis racket.
Cornette there almost between a rock and a hard spot, and Smothers knocked all the way off the apron, back first into the railing again.
Jim, that's about 8 or 10 feet back, and that's how far he went, all the way from the apron of the ring to hit that steel cage, and he hit it with a full force coming off of the ring.
Lane, the veteran, smart to get Smothers back in the ring as quickly as he can. Another tag. Beautiful Bobby will be the legal man. Atomic drop right into the backbreaker. And now we are seeing vintage Midnight Express. They are controlling the tempo. They are controlling the offense.
With a backbreaker, and he just got him right there on that leg and on that knee again, just forcefully keeping the knee and the pressure on the back.
A clothesline from the left side, out of desperation, but so effective by beautiful Bobby Eaton. Tracy Smothers has just been devastated. They're going to work on the lower back here. A patented Midnight Express offensive move.
Regardless of the outcome of this match, I think you've got to say that the Southern boys have certainly garnered wrestling fans all over the world, Jim. They've shown them what they're made of, and you're going to hear a lot from these youngsters.
Smothers trying to cover up there to ward off those blows by Lane, who tags in. Beautiful Bobby on top for the lateral press, and the referee shows his 2. Smothers now the kick of his own, and another savate kick. He's trying to hold on for dear life here. They don't want Smothers to make the tag, quite obviously.
That's right. They're going to try to keep him in the ring right now if they can. Work on him, wear him down. They got to wear one of them down, and if they can keep tagging and switching on him, the Midnight Express know they're in trouble.
Eaton on top. If he hits it, it'll probably be all. Going for the leg drop, and he nailed it. Good Lord, he hit him with an impact. And beautiful Bobby almost out on his feet. Cornette telling him to make the tag. Beautiful Bobby paid the price. He sacrificed his own body for that high impact move, and Smothers may be out of it.
Kennedy was right on target with it off of the rope.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, Speedy Man.
Lane sends Smothers to the far side. Sunset flip by Tracy Smothers. And the wild-eyed Southern boys 1 count away from becoming new U.S. Tag Team Champions here. Tag made. Eaton will come back in. Lane with a savate kick downstairs. There's a neck breaker by beautiful Bobby. Midnight Express now in the driver's seat. In the defense of their U.S. Tag Team Championship. They're looking very dominant at this juncture.
Well, they've done a lot of damage outside of the ring, Jim, and again, they got Smothers outside. They've used the steel cage around the ring. They've used the racket of Jim Cornette, all of those as weapons.
Eaton finally pulls Smothers back into the ring. Tags in Stan Lane. Lane going for a double arm suplex, and he nailed it. Again, Smothers hitting that lower back. That's the object right now. Smothers down, and 2.5 this time. Tag made. Midnight Express operating like a well-oiled machine. Straight right hand, and Smothers outside again. It's been a long time since we've seen Steve Armstrong legally in the ring.
Well, they're keeping Smothers away from him. They're cutting him off. They're not allowing him to get to the corner for a tag.
Wait a minute. Smothers brought beautiful Bobby outside, but Lane nails Smothers with that clothesline. And so Smothers made one nice offensive move, but he still stays in trouble. He blocks that move, and Lane's head ran viciously into the top turnbuckle, but he rakes the eyes.
Go for a tag, man. Go for a tag.
Another exchange. Midnight Express far ahead in the tag ratio.
Well, they've been able to keep that fresh man in the ring. Now they're going to double team him on that tag.
Brothers up and over, got them both off balance. Now here's a chance to make the tag. He's rolling towards his corner, and he tags in Armstrong. Armstrong with right hands. Nailing Lane and nailing Eaton. Smothers almost to the point of exhaustion, sets in the corner. Flying shoulder block by Armstrong. And beautiful Bobby interrupted the count, and Smothers nails Eaton. Smothers slamming Bobby Eaton, but it's Lane and Armstrong, the legal men, I think. Here comes that big coup de grace move.
This could be it for the Midnight Express.
Drop kick, caught him right in the butt. Caught him right in the butt. Clothesline.
Where's the referee?
Referee's putting Smothers out.
Talk about your long counts. He wasn't there. He could have counted him out twice.
Not a popular officiating move there. Bobby Eaton just pushed Armstrong off the top rope. Slam on Armstrong. Here comes the rocket launcher. This will be all. Lane had pushed Armstrong off the top. Referee down. 1, right
Southern
there.
boys, and there was that kick as Layton got him from outside. Then it was Eaton who's going to roll him up in his small package for the 1, 2, 3 as they retain those United States Tag Team Championship belts.
And now let's go to Gordon Solie with the Freebirds.
Tell you what, fabulous tag team action just now. More of that kind of action upcoming when the Freebirds take on the Steiners.
Yeah, Baltimore! Yeah! I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. S. The Freebirds are flying high tonight, baby! And the Steiners, they're not gonna be the same! In fact, when we leave Baltimore tomorrow, if we decide, it's not gonna be the same. You know something, Gordon Solie? There ain't nothing on God's green earth with 4 wheels that we can't drive, and there ain't nothing with 4 legs that we can't ride. And we gonna ride all night long, Steiners, because the Freebirds have come to rock the house, if you understand what I mean. So there's 2 things you can do about it, Steiners. Nothing and like it.
All right, I'll tell you what, Big Van Vader is coming up next, so let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following special attraction, it is set for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first from Minnesota, weighing 251 pounds, the Z-Man.
The Z-Man has the unenviable task, this outstanding athlete, of taking on a real bizarre individual. Let's take a look at this entrance.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, making his debut in World Championship Wrestling, parts unknown, weighing 399 pounds, Big Van Vader!
Big Van Vader making his debut in World Championship Wrestling. Bob, this is a very unusual costuming that this huge man is wearing.
Jim, he's wearing an ancient samurai warrior headpiece of some kind, and as you say, bizarre is about the only way to explain that as you look at it. A big mountain of a man, 399 pounds, Big Van Vader. I have never seen him in action, Jim. I've never watched him in the ring. I don't have any idea what you can expect from the big man.
He apparently some sort of ceremonial thing with his headdress and shoulder attire there.
That may be some type of samurai ceremony that he's doing, Jim, with that headpiece. My heaven.
Van Vader, that's, as I said, there's very few ways to describe.
Wow.
The steam shooting from that. There's nothing connected at all to to that apparatus that he's wearing. This is one big man, 399 pounds. We have seen videotape of him in action. He is one of the most sadistic, one of the most physically intimidating athletes that I have ever seen, Bob, in my career.
And Z-Man has got to be wondering, what the heck am I going to do and how am I going to wrestle a guy like this?
Z-Man, an outstanding competitor. But will he be enough on this occasion to withstand Big Van Vader? Big clubbing forearms.
Well, that's certainly not where he wants to be, back in that corner and caught there to take those tremendous blows from Vader. Some ways, Z-Man's got to rely on his quickness and
Good
speed.
grief. 399 right to the corner. The Z-Man doing all he can to stand. You've got to admire this youngster for accepting this challenge and signing a contract to wrestle this very brutal man. And there's a clothesline, a short one right to the side of the head of Tom Zink, the Z-Man. Referee Randy Anderson checking the Z-Man. He's almost out of it right now. What a blow.
A man that big has got to be very, very strong, and there he shows you just some of that tremendous strength. He just lifts him up right by the ears, right over the top rope.
Hauntingly strong, missed with that clothesline. Drop kick, just his feet
didn't go down.
Didn't go down. Caught midair is a Z-Man. Look at the strength of this big man. This big monster's holding Z-Man up, who weighed in at 251. Military press slam. This man is dangerous. Drops it all. 399 on the Z-Man, and Big Van Vader so dominant here at the Great American Bash. And you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, the first North American appearance of this big man.
Jim, I don't want to say impressive is the word. I would have to say bizarre is the way it is with this guy.
Vertical vertical suplex. He just nailed him. People are looking at this man in awe.
Yes, sir. Everybody's stunned, really.
Veteran wrestling fans that just are speechless. Oh, what a clothesline. Tom Zink may be speechless as well. Big splash, 399. He's got the leg grapevine. My goodness, Big Van Vader is devastating. This big man is awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, Big Van Vader.
And there, fans, you get another look at the big man, Big Van Vader. And Jim, Z-Man never really was able to get any offense on track. It was all this big man from the very beginning. And when he came with a splash and hooked the leg, there was no way the Z-Man was going to get up from this.
399. Tremendous move here. This man who came to the ring awed this entire crowd. We're going to go back and look. That shoulder pad headgear apparatus that he wears completely detached from his body, but as we worshipped it earlier, there you see again, the steam is blowing. Ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Solie is standing by with the Horsemen.
There's only one word to describe Van Vader, and that is awesome indeed. But you gentlemen are going up against another awesome trio tonight, Junkyard Dog, El Gigante, and Paul Orndorff.
Junkyard Dog and Paul Orndorff, and the Giants seem to think that they are going to give the Horsemen a little dose of their own medicine. Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't come here to play around. You got a guy that's 7'10", 7'11". We came here to take care of business and to uphold the tradition of a horseman. Now, our boss, so to say, right here, has put together a plan, and we are going to get rid of the big guy. And we sit right here, we're going to get it done tonight.
Well, we're certainly going to find out about that. And then, of course, the dudes with the attitude in the title match.
I tell you what, Jim Herd has got everything figured out, but I got a few little surprises, Mr. Herd. The one thing we're going to make sure, and that is that Ric Flair walks out tonight as the world's heavyweight champion.
We'll find out. Now back to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following tag team event, it is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing the first team from Bath Street, USA, in Atlanta, Georgia, the greatest rock and roll band of all time, the fabulous
Freebirds make their way to the ring. The former World Tag Team Champions. Bumping and grinding, Bob. Bob, can you dance like that?
Jim, I've been in bed for a month if I even tried.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents from Detroit, Michigan. Total combined weight, 505 pounds. Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner,
crowd here in Baltimore, Maryland. And they're barking at the dog-faced Gremlin and baby brother Scott.
They are doing that, and I tell you, the Freebirds should have taken an extra large dose of bad medicine because they're in against two of the baddest in the Steiners.
And the Freebirds trying to take the early advantage on the Steiners. Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin trying to work over Scott Steiner. Rick Steiner kicked back outside the ring. Side slam by Michael Hayes on Scott Steiner. Dropping Scotty right across that top cable there. Sends him for the ride. Double clothesline.
Well, Jim, I thought that if the Freebirds were to win this match, they were going to have to resort to some kind of skullduggery. They were going to have to cheat to do it, and that's the way they've come out right here.
Here comes the DDT, Bob. Oh, he blocked it. Scotty Steiner blocked the DDT. The Steiners. There's that Steiner line. Big Brother's back in town.
Speaking of the DDT, this man right here, Rick Steiner, may be the only man in professional wrestling that can take the DDT.
Oh! Double clothesline by Scotty Steiner on both the birds, and the feathers have flown here on the outside. The Freebirds became World Tag Team Champions on June 14th of '89. They lost them to the Steiners on November 1st of '89. So we have a battle here, quite obviously, of former World Tag Team Champions. Both these teams would like to have a match with the winner of tonight's Doom Rock and Roll Express match for all the gold.
You're right, Jim, and the Steiners are still upset about losing that title to Doom. They still think that they should have won that match, that they should still be the World Tag Team Champions.
You know, Bob, we think that the crowd obviously here to see Sting's return to the ring and challenge the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. That's a valid point. I think they were here to see the debut of Big Van Vader.
They ask no quarter, they give no quarter. They come with business on their mind, and when they get in the ring, they're tough. And the fans appreciate that kind of competitiveness in the ring.
Both the Steiners with degrees in education from the University of Michigan. Rick Steiner said if he didn't wrestle, he wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. I can kind of see where that could probably be a good deal for him.
I don't think I'd have a kid that I'd want to send to kindergarten if Rick Steiner was going to be the teacher.
I don't know, Bob. It might be interesting. Up in the lights goes Jimmy Jam Garvin. And the Steiner line nails it. Baby, he got all of that one. On top of the lateral press. 1, 2, and Garvin, the veteran, kicks out. Wow, what impact. And we are here at ringside. Michael Hayes now being tagged in. Garvin says, you try him on for size.
No team with more power than the Steiners. We've seen teams that are much bigger, much heavier than the Steiners come out of the ring just shaking their head after they've been in with the Steiners, saying, hey, I've never been hit so hard in my life.
Michael Hayes now has done something very intelligent as far as his team is concerned. The momentum has stopped. The Steiners had the momentum. They were building the momentum. They had it going their way. But Michael Hayes was tagged in and purposely stopped the match by doing a little walking and talking.
That's right. He's again now trying to change the pace. They had the advantage at the opening bell because of the way they attacked the Steiners as they quickly went at them. Now they're trying to turn it around, change the pace again. Let's get it to another level.
The dog-faced Gremlin on all fours there, looking to take a bite out of Michael Hayes, and he does right there. Well, we'll never know if he left a bruise or not. Maybe Garvin could tell us, Bob, if anybody cares.
We're going to have ham for dinner, I guess.
They want Scott Steiner back in. Of the two, he's a little bit of the more orthodox. I think that's a safe assumption. Nice waist lock, go behind, but not for long by Jimmy Garvin. Good move. This kid is so agile. Scott Steiner, high hip block takeover. Got great elevation there. This kid with a drop kick. And he drop kicks Hayes. Hayes and Garvin both outside the ring. And Scotty Steiner and his brother Ricky Steiner dominating the ring.
Scott Steiner's so quick in that ring, you can't hold him down. He's always moving. He's never still. Always on the go. What a the crowd loves him.
Jimmy Garvin looks like he's going to that proverbial parts unknown.
Are they going to leave? Are they going to give up? Have they had enough of the Steiners?
You know, we've talked about all the great teams, brother teams in the sport. The Funks, the Briscoes that have wrestled in the NWA, the Andersons. But I think that all those teams, not to take anything away, because quite obviously they were some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But before it's all said and done, and over the course of time, I think the Steiners will be at the head of that list, Bob, as the greatest brother duo ever to compete in wrestling.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Jim. They've got the strength, they've got the power to go with it. Tremendous amount of agility and quickness and speed in the ring. And they've got the extensive amateur background. They can go in there and wrestle with you if you want to wrestle, or they're strong enough and big enough and powerful enough to mix it up if that's what you want to do.
Fans here with a rather unkind chant for the Freebirds. Scotty Steiner very impatient. He's like a caged tiger, pacing back and forth. And Michael Hayes with a nice move there to get inside with a fist. Ram Scotty's head into that top turnbuckle. That shook the ring post there. Hayes nails him. Big chop.
Well, I still think the Freebirds have got to resort to some underhanded method if they're going to win this match.
Steiner up. Oh, he's got the arms locked.
Whoa.
Double arm suplex. No, he drops him right on his shoulders. Garvin in. Garvin now trying to intercede in this thing, but Scotty Steiner reverses him. There's a tilt-the-whirl slam. He just muscled him around. My goodness, that looked like he went to the carnival, and up and over he went.
There again, when you talk about that power, they've got it, Jim. Not only all of the wrestling ability in the world have they got, but the tremendous amount of power to go with it.
You can't call no timeout.
Boy, I tell you, you can put these two names in the record books right now. They're going to write a mini record before their career is over. They're going to rewrite the book.
Ricky Steiner out there to convince Michael Hayes. He can be suplexed out there on the ramp, or he can be suplexed in the ring.
I tell you another thing. If I was Doom and I was watching these two guys in the ring right now, I think I'd be a little uneasy. I'd be a little nervous about that championship.
Michael Hayes asking Rick Steiner, do you want me? Very rhetorical question. I don't think he's too sincere about that.
Michael is a bitch! Michael is a bitch! Michael is a bitch! Michael is a bitch!
Hayes, he'll play a mind game with Rick. I'm sure that he's probably got the advantage in that capacity.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not so sure that Rick Steiner's going to play that game. And that's not because he may not want to, Jim. I don't think he may be able to.
Yeah!
Hayes, nice leapfrog there by Michael, who drops down. Good movement. No! He didn't dip high enough there, though. Oh, my goodness. And he power slams Garvin right off the top, and he didn't even leave his feet. That is power. That is raw wrestling power exhibited by Rick Steiner. The Freebirds have got to find a path of less resistance, and that's one way. And oh, what a left hand.
Cut him a flip right over the top rope.
Garvin outside here. Jimmy Garvin, keep an eye on him. Garvin's going to try to nail Rick Steiner. Garvin measures him. Clotheslines the dog face from the outside as the referee tries to restrain Scott Steiner. The Freebirds will double team Rick. Double suplex on the concrete.
It's going to take two.
Oh, another clothesline by Garvin, a running clothesline this time. Garvin now tossing Rick back in the ring. And Hayes follows up with a slam. Referee a little slow to get there for the count. Unfortunately for Freebird fans, if there are any. And here comes the Bulldog. Good Bulldog headlock by Michael Hayes. This could be all Hayes nonchalant on top. Enough so that Rick Steiner could get the shoulder up. Jimmy Garvin now tagged in. Straight kick to the head, Bob.
Well, Rick Steiner needs to get back to the corner now to make a tag. Scott's fresh outside the ring. It's been the Freebirds. They've had the offense here in the last several moments of the match. But I tell you, these Steiners are tough. That guy right there, his pain threshold, I don't think he even knows the level of it. He can take a tremendous amount of punishment and pain and keep coming back.
Good half Nelson to turn him over. And Mike Atkins got 2 out of it. Reverse chin lock as Garvin leans on Ricky Steiner. He wants Rick to not only have to maintain his weight, but Jimmy's as well.
Rick almost with that normal look of being out of it on his face, Jim.
Bubba's Freebird's got some interesting makeup on, I'll have to say.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be very popular in certain portions of San Francisco.
You know, like when they came in, they had their lipstick on, they had the rouge on, had that hair slicked back.
Maybe their role model is Harvey Firestone. Torch Song Trilogy or something. Downstairs goes the dog face. The problem he may have is not wanting to make a tag. Great reversal there by Garvin, and Garvin got 2 out of this situation.
Almost a win right there for the Freebirds. That's not smart on the part of Rick Steiner. He ought to go to the corner and he ought to make the tag. I'm sure in his own mind he says, I'm going to do it myself. But in tag team wrestling, Jim, sometimes that's going to work to your disadvantage. That's why it's tag team, man. Go to your partner, make a tag. Let the fresh man in the ring.
Nice reverse chin lock. Very basic move by the Freebirds. Take away all their pomp and circumstance, and they're very sound, fundamental wrestlers. They couldn't have been World Tag Team Champions any other way. Garvin with a knee to the midsection of Rick Steiner.
Well, as you mentioned, Jim, they're flashy in some respects, but they know what it's all about. Time. And as you said, if they weren't very competitive, they didn't know how to wrestle, they weren't rough and they weren't tough, they wouldn't have been the world champions.
Jimmy Garvin making his way up to the top rope, and Rick Steiner nails him. The big right hand to the gut. Oh, face first, down he goes. What a move that was, Bob.
He may not get up from that one, although Rick Steiner also is face down on the mat, and the referee's counting over both of them.
Garvin tags in Hayes, very strategic tag, but Ricky tagged in Scott. The tempo will quicken. There is a power slam.
Well, Hayes put the brakes on when he saw Scott Steiner coming in.
Scotty Steiner sends Hayes to the far side. Military presses him right into Jimmy Garvin. Scotty calls his brother to the ring. Double Steiner line. Stereo Steiner lines. And the Steiners now are cooking here. Could it be the Frankensteiner? Yes, it is. He nailed it. Scotty Steiner with a Frankensteiner. Jimmy Garvin with a DDT. Garvin is not the legal man. Good officiating by the referee.
The referee was aware of that. He's going to send him out of the ring. What's the belly to belly?
Belly to belly by Ricky Steiner. Puts his brother on top. Hayes still out from the Frankensteiner. And the Steiners have won the victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers.
Situation. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, much more to come, including Nature Boy Ric Flair and Sting for the heavyweight championship of the world. But Bob, we want to remind the fans that our next pay-per-view spectacular will be October 27th, Halloween Havoc.
Halloween Havoc on October 27th. Another great event, Jim, from the NWA. And all you fans around the country right now, you want to write that date down. Be making your plans now for October 27th.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 more championships to go, plus the National Wrestling debut of El Gigante. It's going to be interesting, Bob, to see exactly how El Gigante meshes with the Junkyard Dog and Paul Orndorff, because the Horsemen really operate as one.
Well, he's such a big man, Jim. I really believe he's the biggest man in professional sports. 7'7", 7'8", 430-some pounds, a huge individual.
Plus, the question is still out. Sting, he was hurt February 6th after being kicked out of the Horseman group. Ric Flair led that attack. He suffered a severed patella tendon. He had major reconstructive surgery. Will he be at 100% tonight? I want to say this, Bob. Excuse me. He must be.
Yeah, he's got to be. In against Nature Boy Ric Flair, anytime you enter that ring, you better be 100% because you know he's going to be in condition. You know that he's going to be ready to wrestle. He thinks so much of that championship. I tell you, he'll die almost before he'll give up that championship. That's how hard he's going to fight in the ring.
We've seen some great action thus far, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting ready to get into the home stretch. Set back, as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let's go back up to Gary Cappetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following 6-man tag team event. It is set for 1 fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing the first team, the Horsemen. Total combined weight, 850 pounds. First, from Minnesota, he is the World Television Champion, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. From Tennessee, Sid Vicious. And from Sweetwater, Texas, Barry Windham.
The Horsemen are here, and boy, the stakes are high in this one, Bob. Anxious to see Sid rules. We'll find out. Vicious is 6'9", but El Gigante, remember, is 7 feet, 7 inches tall. Let's go back now to Gary Michael Cappetta.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents, total combined weight, 975 pounds. Introducing first, from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Junkyard Dog. From Tampa, Florida, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. And from Argentina, at 7 feet, 7 inches, the largest man never, ever to step in the ring, the one and only El Gigante.
Unbelievable figure.
What a man, El Gigante. He's awfully happy right now. His native country playing for the World Soccer World Championship. He's happy about Argentina playing, I think, West Germany.
Jim, that's right. And you know, fans, we're in Baltimore. This morning I went down to the Inner Harbor at Baltimore, and the Argentine tall ship, the Libertad, docked there, Jim, and that was beautiful. They may have come to see El Gigante.
I know he was extremely proud of his countrymen advancing to the finals of the World Cup of Soccer, which we're happy to say will be carried on Turner Network Television.
Well, we've seen this guy in a couple of tune-up matches, Jim, but he has not been tested. I'll guarantee you one thing. You better believe that Vicious and Windham and Arn Anderson are going to test the big man.
Well, it's going to be a big test. I hope they studied for it. Stayed after school a few days. Sid Vicious comes in. Vicious and Paul Orndorff. And Orndorff, nailed there by big Sid Vicious. Up and over. Vicious grabbing Orndorff right by the neck. Picks him up. Off his feet now. Big Sid has got Orndorff high over his head. Remember, Vicious 6'9", at 330, and he nailed Mr. Wonderful.
Before we saw El Gigante, Sid Vicious, one of the biggest men I had ever seen.
Vicious went for the big leg drop. but Orndorff moves out of the way, and now Orndorff going right to work on the leg of Big Sid Vicious. Drop kicks him. Vicious between the second and third rope. Hip block to Arn Anderson as he comes in. Big knee lift by Mr. Wonderful. Hip blocking Barry Windham. Windham back up, and a knee lift to Barry Windham.
This is not the pace.
He tried to hip block Vicious, and that's not going to work.
The Horsemen don't want to wrestle at this pace, I'm sure of that. Not as big and strong as they are.
Nice move, good wrestling move, using leverage and technique by Mr. Wonderful. But can even he get Sid Vicious over? I think not on this occasion. But the Junkyard Dog can help him a little bit with that headbutt. Vicious will go down with a little help from Orndorff's friends.
And he got a count of 2 on him before Vicious rolled out of it. It's going to be a while when you can tell that already.
Well, it'll be business as normal now because the enforcer is in there, Arn Anderson.
Jim, you know, when many were predicting the downfall of the Horsemen, what did Ole Anderson do? He comes up with Barry Windham and Sid Vicious, and I think the Horsemen now even more notorious than ever.
I think you're exactly right, Bob. Orndorff trying to fight his way out of the corner. He must do so to survive. And the veteran, now living in Fayetteville, Georgia, originally from Tampa. And wait a minute, El Gigante in the ring, and nobody, and I mean nobody, from the Horseman side wants anything to do with this. Can you believe the size? You know, people thought Andre was big.
Oh, yeah.
Andre will have to look up to this guy.
You know,
he's 7 feet 7 inches tall.
I just was sitting here thinking, you know, the Horseman must know now what David felt like when he met Goliath. The only thing about it now, the big man is on the good side.
Listen, we got to chop him down to size, guys. You know what I'm saying? Chop him down to size. Watch it.
Arn Anderson said he's huge, and we've got to chop him down to size.
That's good strategy, but how are you going to do it?
JYD downstairs on Arn Anderson. And the Junkyard Dog with that headbutt. Another one on all fours. Anderson in the wrong corner. Nobody wanted to tag him there except for the right hand. And El Gigante, Arn Anderson probably saw his life flash before his eyes there. What a fist that guy's got. Look at the look on Anderson's face. You can't comprehend unless you see this guy in person how big he really is. We can say he's 7'7". We can say he wears a size 21 shoe, but until you see him, Bob, you can't fathom how big he is.
72-inch chest, for instance, Jim. The guy's got a 20-inch neck. That's as big as a lot of people's weights.
Barry Windham have to go somewhere else on the dog. His head's too hard. JYD back on all fours. Trying to headbutt Barry Windham. Headbutts him in the chest that time. Straight right hand. Junkyard Dog is
Windham's going to get up right in front of him. Boy, they want no part of the big man, and you can't blame them for that.
You know, it's like Orndorff and JYD are running the first down and second down plays. They're going to bring the big guy in for the first down, for third short yardage. We're waiting to see him step in the ring legally. I know the Horsemen aren't, but we are.
And when they get to the goal line, who do you think is going to take it over?
I know
it's going to be the big man.
That's whose play I'd call.
Yes, sir.
JYD, big right hands. He's a street fighter. Doesn't have an amateur background at all. May not know a wrist watch nor wrist lock, but he is successful with those headbutts and those right hands. Barry Windham now in. Another great strategist. There's a DDT. JYD head first. Barry, it didn't work.
James, you got to remember, the Horsemen are big men. Windham, who is big. Sid Vicious is big. Arn Anderson, all of them extremely big men.
Arn Anderson quickly in, and JYD did make the tag to Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, who's in with a lot of fire, fist and fire by the big Orndorff now. He's just dominating.
I'm still surprised, really, that the Horsemen want to wrestle at this pace. I would think they would try some way, and every way they can, to slow it down.
Orndorff now trying to set double A for that pile driver. But Barry Windham up on top. Barry Windham from behind. Windham from behind, off the ropes, nails Orndorff.
That could slow it down.
Any momentum that Orndorff, JYD, and El Gigante had has been snuffed out.
We want Sid! We want Sid! We want Sid!
And chanting, "We want Sid," and Anderson delivers. Sid Vicious, dressed in black to match his personality and his outlook on life. 6'9", 330. Orndorff fighting with all he's got. He's got to free himself from those moves by Vicious, and what a power slam.
Well, a power slam from him, you're coming from a long way up in the air and about 6'9" tall.
Lateral press. Orndorff got the shoulders up before 3. Sid picks him up very easily. Sets Orndorff back in the Horseman corner. Windham has been tagged in with a right hand downstairs. Barry Windham, the 6'6", 280-pounder from Sweetwater, Texas. All high, standing vertical suplex. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff may be all. I thought that would be all.
It looked like it was going to be with a quick count of 2. And right now the Horsemen are doing a good job of keeping him away from El Gigante to make the tag. The bin man hasn't been in legally yet.
Arn Anderson now, the legal man, being tagged in. Anderson with a knee into the kidney area of Paul Orndorff in this 6-man tag team event. From here on out, ladies and gentlemen, they're all for the championships. Matches 9, 10, and 11. This is number 8. 3 more to go, and they're all for the gold.
The U.S. title match, the World Tag Team Championship match, and the one that we've really been looking forward to for so long now, that World Heavyweight Championship match with Sting and Ric Flair.
Nice football tackle by Barry Windham. Windham showing great quickness. Oh, and Orndorff got him with a right hand. Orndorff, perhaps out of desperation, I'm sure that it was, got him with a left hand, and the crowd wants him to tag El Gigante.
Diving to the corner, he went to Junkyard Dog.
I think he wanted to tag the Giant, but he didn't get to do it that time. JYD cracking the heads of Windham and Anderson together. Here comes Big Sid from behind, nailing JYD. And now the 3 horsemen triple teaming the Junkyard Dog, send him over the top rope. That'll be a disqualification. El Gigante throws Vicious over the top rope, shoves Barry Windham around, and the horseman will not stay in the ring with El Gigante.
Every time the big man gets in, the horsemen go out. You hate to see it happen because you want to see the big man in there, but it's good strategy on their part.
The horsemen have been disqualified. Let's hear the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match via disqualification, the team of the Junkyard Dog, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and El Gigante.
The horsemen wanted no part of El Gigante, that 7'7", 435-pound giant. And they'll win it. These men will win it by disqualification. And now let's go to Gordon Solie with a U.S. champ.
Well, I'll tell you what it's going to be. The electricity is in the air now. Next up, the total package, Lex Luger defending his U.S. title against me, Mark, and you've got the added faction of Paul E. Dangerously.
You know, as far as I'm concerned right now, the talking's over. It's not too hard to tear a t-shirt apart. It's be a lot harder to tear this man apart and this belt from around my waist. And Paulie Dangerous, you stick your nose in, you're gonna get your clock clean, baby.
Another question. How do you feel about Sting tonight against Ric Flair?
I'll tell you, I've known Stinger for a long time. I'll tell these people out here, there's a look in his eye back there in the locker room, baby, that I've never seen before. And I think, and I'm out of my heart, I think Sting knows this is his night. He's gonna be the next World Heavyweight Champion right here in this building tonight. I'm calling it.
There you have it, the comments from Lex Luger. The U.S. Heavyweight Championship coming up, the World Tag Team Championship, and then Sting against Flair for all the marbles. Let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the United States Heavyweight Championship. It is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first the challenger. He is accompanied by his manager, Paul E. Dangerously from Houston, Texas, weighing 319 pounds. Mean Mark.
Paul E. Dangerously, the man with the biggest ego in wrestling. He's like a small country bounded on the north, south, east, and west by himself. Great strategist, however. The psycho yuppie from Wall Street, as we have heard him described. Lex Luger usually has the size and strength advantage. Not tonight.
No, not this time. 6'9", 319 pounds. And there you get a good look at it. A fighting machine. Mean Mark.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Chicago, Illinois, weighing 272 pounds, the United States heavyweight champion, the total package, Lex Luger!
Tremendous ovation for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Looks like he's got a haircut, Bob. New hairstyle for the package.
Doing for the total package, and you talk about the size advantage that he normally has. He's giving up about 47 pounds and 4 inches in height to Mean Mark.
U.S. champion. Outstanding competitor. 4-year pro, been the U.S. champion 3 times. Played 7 years of pro football as Mike Acton displays the United States Heavyweight Wrestling Championship belt.
Jim, a lot of people are not aware of it, but Lex Luger is also a smart one. He's smart in that ring. You know, he graduated from college with like a 3.78 grade average. That's pretty good when you figure 4 is perfect.
Got a degree in marketing, Bob. Great all-around athlete, a 3-sport all-stater in high school. Turned down an appointment to the Naval Academy in nearby Annapolis, not too far from where we are now here in Baltimore, and Paul E. Dangerously, who is not going to work, by the way, for the Hair Club for Men, even though he's good buddies with Saul Fessman. Paul E. has said that is a vicious rumor that's untrue, so we will back his story. He's not going to work for the Hair Club for Men. As long as he can keep combing it over and covering up that one spot, he's going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. He was giving his final instructions right there to Mean Mark. Not that the big guy probably needs many. When you look at these guys and you match them up, Jim, they're both big and huge. Mark, as we said, is bigger. One thing they got to do now, Mean Mark has got to avoid the torture rack. If Luger can get him in that, it could all be over. But by the same token, Luger's got to avoid the heart punch.
Mean Mark with a wrist lock on Lex Luger. Look how big Mean Mark is, because you know Luger, an Adonis-like physique, 6'5", just over 270. Nice wrist lock, nice reversal there on Mean Mark. I look for this match to be competed mostly on at a vertical plane here, Bob.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see him get on the mat too many times.
They're not mat wrestlers, they're power wrestlers here.
That's right.
It's hard, you cannot execute those power moves off your feet unless you're coming off the top rope or you're airborne from using the ropes for leverage of some reason.
But I tell you, at 6'9", 319 pounds, Mean Mark is one of the, if not the most agile big men that we've ever seen in the ring, Jim. The guy can walk the ropes, he can get into the air, he can drop kick, he can do a lot of things that men much smaller can do.
Paulie doesn't have a wealth of fans here at ringside. He's the Andrew Dice Clay of the NWA these days.
Would it tell you something about Mean Mark if I were to tell you that his favorite pet was a snake?
I can believe that, Bob. I think yeah, I can believe that. I'll tell you, the kid was a great high school and college athlete, same as Luger. If you look at the backgrounds of both these guys, you'll find that they have some unique similarities as far as their basketball abilities. They both played football. They were both outstanding students. Mean Mark's got a degree from Texas Wesleyan University in sports management.
That's right, sports management, yes.
And he goes to the ropes there. That'll break the maneuver. Dangerously has him tutored well. Don't expend any extra energy. Use the ropes. Save your strength.
Well, Paulie Dangerously, Jim, doesn't have many friends, but he's one of the most astute managers in professional wrestling. I think he and Jim Cornette, you got to rate as probably the two tops at that profession.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you can't discount Teddy Long.
No,
he's got the World Tag Team Championship.
Right,
I think it depends on what you're looking for there. As far as what you're looking for in a manager, they all offer unique characteristics. But Luger used great quickness there. Usually Luger has the advantage in power, but not in quickness because he's usually so much larger than his opponents. I think here we'll see maybe a little different match from the package. He is a quicker man.
He pulled the hair! He pulled the hair! I saw him do it!
Well, that United States Championship means a whole lot to Lex Luger.
He's a football player. He's not supposed to wrestle that good.
Paulie Dangerously said he's a football player, Jim. He's not supposed to wrestle that good. Maybe Luger surprised him with that move.
You don't win a U.S. championship 3 times without great ability. And Mean Mark, that gloved right hand, with a couple of clubbing blows to the total package Lex Luger. And Luger feeling full force those right hands. Irish whip to the corner, and Mean Mark missed and nailed the elbow on the top turnbuckle. Luger back to work on the wrist lock.
That was that quickness that you mentioned. But you know, I was just thinking, not many times in a match is Lex Luger ever going to look up to an opponent.
High cross body by Luger, and Mean Mark too strong there for Luger to hold down. Good arm drag takeover by Lex.
Luger showing you not only some quickness, but some great moves in there also.
He doesn't use that arm drag takedown very often. He usually uses a side headlock to take his opponents down.
He's pulling hair, Murray.
He's talking to Murray.
I don't know what he wants Murray to do about it.
That's Murray Povich watching at home with Connie Chung.
Should be.
Back to the vertical base are both these outstanding athletes. Arm bar applied by Luger. Mean Mark trying to negotiate a way out of this situation. Nice move by Luger. Good concentration and strength to hold on.
Held right on, rolled right on through the move, kept that arm bar, now still got that pressure on that arm. As you say, good move on the part of Luger. He's wrestling a smart match so far. Jimmy, when you look at these two men in the ring and you think about the NWA and all of the outstanding competitors, the athletes, where in the world is it going to end? They just keep getting better and they keep getting bigger. Bigger, stronger, more powerful, and better athletes.
These guys are both in the super heavyweight category and with very little, if any, body fat on these two guys, any excess, I should say. Mean Mark going for that hard punch, went a little high with it, got Luger that time though. From behind with that gloved right hand, caught him in the, looked like the side of the head, big foot right to the face, and the total package now, after about 2 or 3 high impact moves, it's Mean Mark.
It tells you something about a guy when he's big enough to get a foot straight out into the face of a man 6'5" tall.
Mean Mark. I wonder if the referee checked that glove before this match started. As Luger is draped right above us here, right over the second turnbuckle, as Mean Mark attempting to rob this total package from any oxygen that he's stored away. The fuel that run the athletes, the oxygen.
Well, Mark has certainly learned his lesson well from Paulie Dangerously. He's staying right on top of Luger now. He's not giving him breathing room.
Mean Mark's got that arm wrenched back. He's also got some tights there.
Boy, with 319 pounds on top of you, it's going to be hard to get up off of the mat.
We don't find Luger in this position, Bob, very often. Flat of his stomach. He's close to the ropes. I wonder if he would use the ropes to break the maneuver.
He might be able to reach up and grab that rope. I don't know, pride may keep him from doing that.
I think you're right. Mean Mark's right hand has been very effective thus far in this contest. Luger has suffered from that, and now Mean Mark Climbing to the top rope.
Look at this, Jim.
Walking right down it. And nails again with a gloved right hand on the back of the head of the total package Lex Luger.
Well, we said that big man could do things that much smaller men couldn't do, and you just saw Mark do it when he walked down the ropes.
Luger fights back with a big elbow. Mean Mark's eyes cross there momentarily. Luger fights back. Great right hands. Luger goes for some momentum. Up and over he goes. Mean Mark and Paul Lee had that one well scouted.
He not only went out of the ring, but he went sailing out of the ring. He almost went up into the crowd, the first row of fans.
Watch Paul Lee. Paul Lee's trying to draw the referee to him. And for that reason, another cheap shot on Luger, perpetrated by Mean Mark. Paul Lee needs a setter, a babysitter or something. Luger's head ran face first into those are wooden stairs leading into the ring, and they're heavy.
And that's a metal cage around the ring, and it's steel. It's not lightweight at all. Oh, and here he is, right at ringside, right at our table, as Luger's head slammed hard right into the table, right at our elbow.
He rammed him on our table here, and Luger in a great deal of trouble. May not be able to make it back into the ring.
You want to be in the wrestling business. That's what happens when you're too close to the action.
Yeah, well, you need to go brush your teeth and use a little mouthwash before you come back over here, please.
Or I'd have been gone.
They're using everything that's not nailed down to try to wrestle the United States Heavyweight Championship from the total package. Luger up over top, sunset flip, and he, no! Did he get him? No, he got 2.5 there. Mean Mark again. Bob, you think there could be something in that right glove hand?
Boy, he has really landed that right hand a number of times, and every time he does, Luger reels from it.
That's his heart punch hand, and we've seen him literally paralyze men temporarily after nailing him with that heart punch.
Well, we've never seen anybody get up from that hard punch. And if he lands it on Luger, I don't know whether Luger could survive it or not. That one spun him around, it was so hard.
Mean Mark has the advantage when they go toe-to-toe. He has proved it thus far. Luger, though, with a nice reversal, set much too early, and Mean Mark nailed him from behind. And now Mean Mark, front face lock, got him up and suplexes it. But Luger right back up, and Dangerous, they cannot believe it. Paul Lee can't believe it. Oh, the clothesline by the package. Luger with a chisel physique explodes with those clotheslines on Mean Mark, and the tide has definitely turned.
Mark flat on his back out in the ring, but Luger, as you say, has turned the tide of it. He's got to get him in a torture.
Can he get him in a rack? Can he get him up? He's got him up. Oh, 319. My goodness, Luger is so strong.
The referee goes down.
Referee kicked in the face. Paul Lee with a telephone nails Luger in the ribs. Paul Lee wants the referee up. He'd love a cheap victory here.
Both wrestlers are down, and so is the referee.
The unbelievable part of this is that Luger had Mean Mark, all 319 of him, in the torture rack. And Dangerously's trying to revive the referee.
There was no way once he got up there that Mark was going to get out of that. It would have all been over. It would have been curtains for Mean Mark, and Dangerously not quickly got him into the ring.
Mean Mark may steal it right here. 1, 2, and 2 3/4.
He got it up.
He got the shoulder up, and we're a half a count away from a new United States Heavyweight Champion. But again, Luger goes down from the right hand. Oh, this is physical.
He keeps driving that right hand. Luger's been hit with it dozens of times so far in the match. And they both now.
Mean Mark signaling for the heart punch. Bob, we may see the changing of the guard here.
If he gets him set for it, it could be it.
Trying to get some momentum.
He says the heart punch is coming.
Luger just nailed Paul Lee and close on Mean Mark. 1, 2, 3, and the champion retains the title. The package has won it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and still United States Heavyweight
be with the fans, Bob.
And they stood toe-to-toe to battle in this one. But watch this, as Mean Mark had him set up for the hard punch, Jim. There it is, the foot though, as Luger saw it coming. He was able to get a good right-hand blow, and Paulie dangerously clotheslined him, covered him, hooked the leg, and there it was, the win.
Ladies and gentlemen, earlier today in the locker room, Gordon Solie spent a few moments with Sting. Let's hear that interview.
Sting, it's just a matter of hours now before you face the champion for the title. What are your thoughts?
I'd be a liar, Gordon, if I was to say that I wasn't nervous. The heart is pounding right out of my chest right now because Ric Flair is a great champion, but my knee is back 100%. I've got the stipulations set just the way I want them. No disqualification. People around the ring. If I lose, I have no excuses. Rick, if you lose, you have no excuses. I am more than willing to walk that aisle.
Now let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is for the World Tag Team Championship. It is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing first the challengers from Nashville, Tennessee. Total combined weight, 420 pounds. Ricky Martin, Robert Gibson, The Rock and Roll Express.
You know, Bob, I don't know if it's an omen or not, but they won their first World Tag Team Championship on July the 9th, 1985. Almost 5 years to the day when they challenged for number 5. Could it be?
It could be. I know they're ready.
And ladies and gentlemen, their opponents. Theodore R. Long presents the World Tag Team Champions, Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, the King of Doom.
The first black World Tag Team Champions, managed by Theodore R. Long. And I want to tell you, they are as physical as any tag team in wrestling.
Well, we talked about them being big, being strong, being powerful, and here are two of the biggest, the strongest, and the most powerful in this sport.
Ron Simmons, native of Warner Robins, Georgia. Four-time football All-American at Florida State for Coach Bobby Bowden. He was a nose tackle there. He knows what it's like to compete and survive in the trenches. There's the manager, Theodore R. Long. You take a look at Hacksaw Butch Reed. Junior college All-American, NAI All-American, was known as a real headhunter at linebacker in college. Both these guys like high-impact moves. They'll take it right to you. On the other hand, Bob, the Rock and Roll Express will take another route.
Oh, they got to. It's going to be a contrast in styles, and it has to be that because there's no way that the Rock and Roll Express are going to stand toe-to-toe and battle with the World Tag Team Champions Doom. They're gonna. It's got to be quick. It's got to be agility. They got to outsmart them. They got to get them off of their feet. Any number of things that they got to do, Jim, to win this match. It's going to be a tough one for them.
You know, because he's a Florida State alumnus, it's been said that Ron Simmons, who started out for his team, is Burt Reynolds' favorite wrestler.
That's right.
But I guess Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson are probably Lonnie Anderson's favorite wrestler, so it may be keeping the family there.
Keep that camera on it because when we leave tonight, we'll still be the NWA World Tag Team Champions, Daddy.
His mouth is so big he can whisper in his own ear.
Rock and Roll, Jim, they got to call on all of their ring experience and all of their expertise to come out of this one a winner.
Robert Gibson, Ron Simmons starting it out. In recent weeks, we have seen these two teams develop a tremendous rivalry, and Simmons offering Gibson the opportunity to leave the ring. You know, we've made the comment, Robert Gibson came from a hearing and speech impaired family.
And he does a lot of signing when he's in the ring at times, Jim. I know a lot of times he'll show the sign of love, and I tell you, he has a lot of compassion in the ring.
To the fans and to his partner.
That's right.
Not to Doom tonight, I wouldn't think. Good. Simmons showing that power right out of the collar and elbow tie-up. He's nailed, he's knocked down. So I'll tell you something. those guys, Simmons is strong, Reed is strong. It's going to be a situation where if the Rock and Roll Express, if they don't pick it up and fast break with these guys, they're going to take a beating.
That's right. It's got to be fast-paced. They can't, as we said, cannot stand toe-to-toe. And you know Doom is going to try to slow it as much as possible.
Nice reversal by Ron Simmons. Goes for the corner. Nobody home. There's a cradle by Robert Gibson. Can he hold him down? No, he cannot. And quickly, both men are back up to their feet.
And that's what they got to do to win the match. They got to catch him by surprise. They got to out-quick him.
Hacksaw Butch Reed, that blitzing linebacker from Central Missouri State in his college days in Northeast Oklahoma A&M. I tell you, I've heard about his football background. He'll blindside you. He'll blindside you in the squared circle. Doesn't mind doing it.
Very methodical, too, when he gets into the ring. And that's what he's done. He's come in to slow it down and to slow the pace of it.
Nice reversal by Robert Gibson into the scoop slam. Takes Reed off his feet. Big elbow there. Reed now, uncharacteristically, reeling from the power attack from the elbow by Robert Gibson.
Well, Jim, Gibson is big. He's 6'2", 235 pounds. And a man that size, he's got enough of power to make himself felt in the ring.
Ricky Morton, legal man in the ring, may have as much fighting heart as any athlete I've ever been around in any sport.
You know, when we're talking about Doom and what they got to do, Jim, we got to remember that the Rock and Roll have been World Tag Team Champions 4 times. They've been there, and they know what it's all about.
And each and every time they won those titles, they won them from a bigger team. Bigger in stature, not bigger in determination.
Or heart, you're right.
Side headlock by Reed. Goes to the ropes, he's got momentum. Morton drops down. And Morton has got to keep from allowing himself to get into that football tackle position.
It's like hitting a brick wall. When Butch Reed hits you coming off of the ropes, he doesn't give.
Busted heads by Doom. Indeed, truer words were never spoken. Well, we're counting the minutes. The next match for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Great look at the crowd. What a crowd we have here. It's jammed to the rafters. And a double football tackle by the Rock and Roll. Showing their double teaming abilities. Double suplexing Ron Simmons and the Rock and Roll Express. Teaming as one, bringing Reed back in.
Well, that's one way to overcome the size of the opponent. Double team him when you get an opportunity.
Uh-oh. Reed, we got the wide base, blocked the hip lock, the attempted hip lock by Robert Gibson, and Gibson was really tattooed by that massive clothesline by Reed, whose forearms look like oak tree limbs.
I started to say, have you ever seen bigger arms on an individual than the ones that Reed and Simmons have? And when they clothesline you, when they hit you, brother, you're down, and in most cases, you're out.
If Doom follows their normal modus operandi, they will tag in and out very quickly now. They'll try to keep Robert Gibson in their half of the ring. Double elbow by Doom. Reed will leave the ring, leaving Simmons in there for the lateral press on Robert Gibson, but Gibson kicked out.
You mentioned it earlier, Jim. You got to hand it to Teddy Long. Theodore R. Long has done a tremendous job with his team.
It wasn't that long ago that Theodore R. Long was a respected referee for World Championship Wrestling.
Boy, he saw big dollars when he saw these two. That turned him right around. He went from a referee to a manager.
Morton nailed there, and referee trying to put Ricky Morton out of the ring, and Robert Gibson tossed over the top rope. That would have been a disqualification. The Rock and Roll Express, you know, the challengers are always at the disadvantage. The championship cannot change hands on a disqualification, cannot change hands on a count out, cannot change hands on a time limit draw.
And so many times, Jim, in a situation like that, when a team feels like they're on the verge of losing a championship, well, they'll get themselves disqualified. They'll deliberately do something.
Reed couldn't keep his balance, goes over, but not for long as Robert Gibson reaches to the corner too far, obviously, to make the tag. Neck breaker applied by Hacksaw Butch Reed. Reed now on top, 1, 2.5. Referee Randy Anderson. Well, this is one time Ricky Morton's not the smallest man in the match. I guess that distinction goes to Pee Wee Anderson. He's about 140. After drinking a few soda waters.
Butch Reed telegraphed that. Gibson saw it, came with a knee lift, but he's a long way from a tag, and he needs to get to the corner now.
And he does, Bob. He heard you. Ricky Morton now. Stinging right hands on Hacksaw Butch Reed. You won't pin him that way, but it'll certainly frustrate him, but he can beat him that way with that sleep hold. Ricky Morton saw Ron Simmons coming in. It's reversed by Reed. Morton, no, up and over. He's like a water bug.
Very quick. You just can't hold him.
Trying to hold him down with his legs. Simmons, oh, man. Simmons had the shoulder, or Reed had the shoulder up, but Simmons from behind no less, nailed Morton with that clothesline.
I don't know that he'll get up from that. He almost took his head off. He may be completely out.
Yeah, boy! Come on!
Theodore R. Long must feel pretty confident right now, Bob. His team controlling the action. Morton sent to the near side, caught with a clothesline. Clothesline's been a popular move tonight by these high-impact guys.
Yeah, and because of those tremendous arms and the size of them and the power that they got.
Lateral press. 10 minutes gone the match. I just heard Gary Capetta announce. Reed with right hands. Boy, they are just dominating right now. The world champions have turned it on. They've turned it up a notch.
Yeah, they're mauling them. They're doing with them just about what they want to at this point. There's nothing that Morton seems to be able to do, or Gibson, either one now, to turn the tide.
I've always admired Ricky Morton, be quite frank about it. If the pace slows down anymore, Ricky Morton's going to be pinned here.
That's right. He
cannot withstand the physical onslaught of Simmons and Reed. They are too big and too strong. Irish whip in, and Ricky Morton, with a last-minute move, got the foot up. Simmons ran into it face first, and Ron Simmons tags in at the encouragement of Teddy Long, Butch Reed. Ricky Morton, however, has been unable to make that tag. He meets Reed with a foot to the midsection. That's going to slow him down for a moment, but not for long, as Reed rakes the eyes.
They're going to try to keep Morton from making that tag, and that's a smart thing to do on their part. They don't want him to get to that corner. They got him beat down now.
Everything is high impact. Everything is low risk. Reed now will take a chance. He's on the second turnbuckle and nails that 280-plus pounds on top, and Ricky Morton just barely, and I mean barely, kicked out.
You got to hand it to the young man. It's only due to outstanding conditioning that he's been able to take this pounding and still be in the ring, still have his head about him, even to know the kick out. He may be fighting just on ring instinct right now.
Ricky Morton's blue eyes a little glazed over, a little glassy. Morton back up to a vertical base. That's smart wrestling there. Trying to go downstairs on Reed. Ricky Morton trying to go for a pin here when he should have gone for the tag. He will not get Reed over that way, but Robert Gibson helped him. Can he hold him? I didn't think so.
No.
Reed's too strong. Just massively strong, these two guys that are the World Tag Team Champions. They beat the Steiners in Washington, D.C. at Capitol Combat.
That just again proves how strong and how powerful they are, because I don't think there's any team any more powerful than the Steiners.
Oh, no. Morton's neck just snapped on that bottom cable. It's a steel cable in there encased by rubber. And Morton a foot on the rope.
Yeah, Morton has been in for several minutes. I don't know how much longer he can continue to be pounded this way and keep his senses about it.
I'll tell you what, a lesser man, and there are a lot of them, a lesser man would have folded his tent and gone to the house. Inside cradle by Ricky Morton, still trying to go for the pin. He's still competing. He still will not give up, but he needs to make the tag. High impact, personified, another 2 count. And Doom, the last several moments have been so dominant. Again, Reed now tagged in. Reed and Simmons staying rested. One wrestles for a while, the other rests. They make the tag, they make the exchange, but they maintain the high impact status that they started with.
Morton is going to be one great big bruise after this if he's able to even walk.
Reed dropping that big soup bone right hand on Ricky Morton, who kicks out.
Unbelievable that he can keep doing that.
Reverse chin lock by Reed, who's got his big forearms buried down in the trapezius muscle of Ricky Morton. And Teddy Long, you can see him over there.
And he's put the shoulders right to the mat, just from the force of that chin lock.
Reed's awesomely strong. He's a 500-pound bench presser. Teddy Long denying any action there, but Ron Simmons, now look at this. Again, I still say it, should be 2 referees for these tag team matches.
Well, Reed and Simmons have done a good job over the rope.
Earlier it was Robert Gibson who went over Bob. Now it's Ricky Morton, the referee, who's doing a great job. Hey, Pee Wee's working hard, but he can't be everywhere at once. And look at that, Teddy Long with a cheap shot. Teddy Long with a real cheap shot on Ricky Morton. Morton will look back at this tape and say, I'll pay that one back somewhere down the road.
But he's not going to believe that he took such a beating. I don't know if we've ever seen Ricky Morton or Robert Gibson, either one of them, take the beating that Ricky Morton has sustained so far in this match.
And Reed, the veteran, makes a very timely tag. And Ron Simmons again with high impact moves. They just keep hammering at you and hammering at you. They're kind of like Mike Tyson. They'll take some licks, but they're gonna hurt you.
And I don't think right now that Morton has got enough stamina and power. They can take the licks from him and just keep right on coming. He can't slow him down. That may slow him a little.
Ron Simmons.
But he can't get over for the tag.
Well, Reed got the tag. Ricky Morton has got to use his quickness and create some type of break. If Doom doesn't make a mistake here, Morton, we may see him for the last time. And look at Reed. That was pure muscle. He muscled him up and over. Everything is an impact move for Doom. And Morton raises the knees. Now make the tag, Ricky Morton.
Trying to get to the corner. Jimmy's got that in mind. He just doesn't have the physical stamina right now to do it.
He's trying to focus on his partner. Morton up to his feet. You got to hand it to the kid from Nashville, Tennessee. Tags in Robert Gibson, who is well rested. Sends Simmons for the ride and buries the fist to the midsection. Takes him face first down. He hits Reed on the apron. A drop kick to Ron Simmons and Robert Gibson. Fighting fire with fire. He's got to fight for his team now, but it's Simmons from behind with a double axe handle.
As they double team him again, but he's well rested.
Uh-oh. Good quick move. Good quick move. Catch him off balance. Reed interrupted the count, and now Ricky Morton's back in the fight. All 4 men are now, as Gordon Sully would say, indeed a Pier 6 brawl is ensuing. Teddy Long is even up on the apron. Savant kick. Teddy Long inside the ring. Reed went outside. Long came inside. Teddy Long's in the ring.
Look who's got him.
Robert Gibson nails Teddy Long. And a big shoulder block by Reed. Gibson did not see Reed coming. And the Doom will retain the title. Oh man, that could have gone either way.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and still World Tag Team Champions, Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, the Team of Doom.
Teddy Long inadvertently was knocked in the ring. There you see him.
And here was Robert Gibson, and you see from outside of the ring, Big Butch Reed up onto the ropes into the corner, and off of that corner when Gibson turned around, Jim, that was a power move off of the ropes. 1, 2, 3, they retain the championship. What a wild match.
But we haven't heard the last of this feud, I'll tell you that. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier today, the building was empty, but Ric Flair and Gordon Sully were here. Here's what transpired.
It's the calm before the storm. In just a matter of hours, this arena is going to be jam-packed with wrestling fans from all over the world to watch Ric Flair defend his title against the challenge of Sting.
And what I have on is a $2,000 custom-made suit ready for the victory celebration. Tonight, Gordon Solie, 15,000 strong. They're going to see the Nature Boy walk that aisle against Sting, the people's choice, a man who has come back from a career-ending injury to challenge Ric Flair. Hatred in his heart, he wants to be the man. Well, Sting, I've coined a phrase, pal, that goes like this. To be the man, you have to beat the man. And in Baltimore, Maryland, tonight, Ric Flair live, I will be the man one more time. Woo!
It all remains to be seen. It's going to be a great match, no question about it. Jim Ross, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Gordon Solie. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we came to see. The heavyweight championship of the world will be on the line in just a few moments. The dudes with attitudes will be at ringside. And Bob, they're here to make sure that this match stays one-on-one.
That's right, that Ole Anderson doesn't interfere, that none of the horsemen interfere in the match. Jim, this is something, as we say, that we've been waiting now several hours to see. But you know, Sting has been waiting ever since February for this moment.
It's going to be a great night. The greatest world's champion in the history of our sport, Nature Boy Ric Flair, once and for all says he will put Sting out of wrestling. They almost did when they severed his patella tendon. But what will happen tonight? Sting says, and I like that attitude, if he doesn't win, there'll be no excuses.
That's right. He's not saying it's going to be because of the leg. It's not going to be because I'm not in shape or condition. I'll have no excuses. I'm going to do it tonight, or that's it.
Plus, ladies and gentlemen, Ole Anderson will be handcuffed to the 7'7" El Gigante. Sit back and take a deep seat. This is what we came to see. The heavyweight championship of the world is coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first the challenger from Tennessee, California, weighing 261 pounds. This is
The Stinger, dressed in red, white, and blue, here at the Great American Bash, his first one-on-one match since early February of this year. He says, Bob, he's at 100%. He says there will be no excuses. He's here to compete man on man. Let's hope it stays that way.
Well, this is what he's had in mind, and he's thought of nothing but this moment now. And it's finally arrived. Let's see if he's up to the task.
The dudes with attitudes, there you see the Steiners, along with the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, will be setting at all four ring corners to make sure the horsemen do not enter the ring. Here's Gary Capetta.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Charlotte, North Carolina, weighing 242 pounds. And for the sixth time, he is the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
You know, Bob, since 1905, when the NWA was formed, we've had 3 title changes to begin a decade. 1920, Joe Stecker beat Earl Craddock. 1940, Ray Steele beat Bronco Nagurski. In 1980, Tommy Rich beat Harley Race. There's only been 3 title changes to start a decade. Will this be number 4?
This could be the 4th one, Jim. 1990, the start of the new decade.
Baltimore, the site of the last 3 bashes, but never the site of a world title change. Will this be the night?
Of this World Heavyweight Championship match, the stipulations presented and demanded by Executive Vice President of World Championship Wrestling, Jim Herd. This match must be won by pinfall or submission. the Steiner brothers, the Junkyard Dog, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, the dudes with attitudes surrounding the ring, and also Ole Anderson to be handcuffed to 7 foot, 7-inch El Gigante.
Ole Anderson very irate, but he's not going to be nearly as irate now as he is about right now.
What's this?
El Gigante says, you're going back here. Anderson will not be at ringside. Apparently, Ole Anderson will be well up the ramp. Jim Herd, Executive Vice President of World Championship Wrestling, says it's going to be one-on-one come heck or high water.
It's going to be one-on-one, Jim. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be no disqualification. The dudes with attitudes around the ring, they're there to be sure that the horsemen don't interfere. And as we said before, if Sting doesn't do it, he says he's not going to have any excuses. Look at that.
Ole Anderson got much room to sit down there. El Gigante takes up about 2.5 chairs.
That's right. But I tell you, Anderson's not going to go anywhere.
I tell you, Bob, I'd like to filter through the handcuffing, the dudes with attitudes, and get to this. This is what we came to see. This is the young man that people say will dominate the 90s against the man that has dominated the 80s, the Nature Boy. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Sting looking very strong in overpowering the Nature Boy.
Well, he has tremendous body power and stamina. Another thing that he's done, he's expertly perfected a Scorpion Deathlock, and if he can put that on Flair, it can all be over. Jim, the big question mark, of course, though, is Sting's knee. You know, he's worked hard and he's worked long, he's suffered plenty, but he's not wrestled. He's been working out. But that's not like actual combat in the ring. And will that layoff affect his stamina? And of course, he's got to avoid the figure four. Can you imagine the figure four if Flair gets it locked on that knee?
Oh, it's going to be deadly and probably the end of the match.
What's a clean break?
What about the Scorpion Deathlock? Flair has to be aware of that. Flair. Ooh, ooh, wow, what a chop. You can hear him. Our camera's taking you right in there. You got to think people around the country are flinching. And Sting walks right across. He's walking tall. Flair to the corner. The Stinger has got him up, and his legs are solid underneath. The military press and the Stinger dominating Flair.
He didn't hesitate at all. He went right to it. Evidently, he's not thinking about that knee, and he's certainly not favoring it.
High hip lock taken over by Sting. Great drop kick right on the button on Flair. And the Nature Boy rolls outside in this battle for the World's Heavyweight Championship. The Stinger, starting his 4th year in wrestling, didn't debut into the top 10 until '88. Late in the decade that Flair has dominated. And that big chop.
Sting is not even blinking from those blows.
Flair, hip lock, whoa, right on the ramp. Sting clotheslines him back inside the ring. And the world's heavyweight champion already in trouble as the Stinger seems dominant.
He certainly dominated the opening minutes of the match. It's been all Sting. He has really turned the offense loose. Flair's been on the defense ever since the match started.
I'm sure everyone probably assumes that this match will come down to Flair's figure four or Sting's Scorpion. I think both men have got those moves so well scouted, I don't think it'll come to that. Flair, thumb to the eye of Sting, whose face is red, white, and blue. Snapmare by the Nature Boy. 6 times he has been the heavyweight champion of the world.
And as you said, Jim, the wrestler of the decade of the 80s, and he's considered by many of the experts as the greatest NWA champion of all time. But you know, no matter how great you are, the time eventually comes, Jim, when you fall. Could this be the time for the Nature Boy?
Well, the thing about it is, Sting has never beat Flair in a championship match. That's the difference. Flair, great suplex. He thinks he has the advantage, and Sting is up quickly. Sting up so quickly, nails him with clotheslines. A pair of clotheslines, and now the Stinger going upstairs. He's going to test the knee early. He's upstairs, he's up on top. High cross body. 1, 2 and a half. Flair barely got out of it.
Almost had him pinned with a crossbody off of that rope.
Ric Flair, who was educated in a private school, the son of a doctor, from Minneapolis, Minnesota originally, now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I got to tell you, I'm surprised at the way Sting is able to maneuver. Jim, I thought at least that knee would slow him down a little bit, that he would be a little careful with it. Heck, he's thrown caution to the wind.
I think the people in the media and the fans are more concerned about his knee than he is.
Yeah.
He says he's healthy. I've seen him work out on many occasions. I've seen him use the Stairmaster, the Life Cycle. I've seen him run, seen him lift weights. Bob, he looked 100%. It's hard to believe, but he looked 100%. But Flair, now let's see. This is the test.
Wait a minute. Here it comes.
Flair says he's the dirtiest player in the game. Going downstairs, working on the knee. That's the knee. Yes, of course. The knee that Sting had operated on.
Well, we pointed out many times that Flair will do anything to retain that championship.
Flair sends Sting for the ride, the Irish whip, but he's clothesline out of the corner. Sting up high for the elbow, and the champion moves out of the way quickly. It's now Flair, spinning toe hold. He's going to set for the figure 4.
He tried to get that figure 4 locked in on that knee. Boy, it's amazing the way Sting has taken the blows and bounced right back.
His resiliency is, we thought, you know, one of his greatest attributes has always been his quickness. But I'll tell you something. We thought perhaps when the injury occurred that it would lessen his quickness. I don't think so. He's as quick as I've ever seen him tonight.
Absolutely. I tell you, it's amazing. Jim, when you realize how severe that injury was, and I'm not sure that a lot of fans are aware of the seriousness of that injury and the serious operation that the young man had to go through.
Big chop now, and that chop took its toll on Sting by the Nature Boy, who really laid it down. That big right hand. Flair picks the challenger up, tosses him outside. Now that's a test of the knee. Landed right on the knee on that rampway.
But again, Sting just shakes it off.
10 minutes gone by. 10 minutes
Flair
gone
with another
by.
big chop there. Sting prone on the rampway. Referee Nick Patrick assigned this contest. This is the first time we've seen him tonight. Assigned only this match. The senior official now in the NWA and World Championship Wrestling.
This is when Ric Flair is at his most dangerous, when he gets the opponent hurt.
He nails him with that knee, Bob. He goes for the chop, and then he goes for the knee. Listen to... Ooh. Wow.
Unreal.
Wow, what a chop. He's paying the price, says the champion of the world. Flair downstairs with the kicks to the knee. Sting limping now, noticeably. But who wouldn't be?
Even if you had a knee that had never had an operation and never been operated on. With a blow like that, you'd have to limp around the ring.
Sting now fighting back. The Stinger with right hands and lefts and kicks to the midsection. Flair now in trouble. The Stinger with that great explosiveness that we remembered. High, hip block, taking Flair over. But he went for the drop kick, but nobody there. Flair, the veteran, stepped out of the way. And now will he go for the figure 4? No, he's going to work on the leg, though. Drapes, oh, man, right across that bottom rope. He came down with all 242 pounds, the world's champion, taking it to the challenger.
Sting right now has got to be in trouble, Jim, and he's got to be wondering, what can I do at this point? Are my wheels going to hold up on me? Am I going to be on one leg for the rest of the match?
Flair has been on his 6th title reign since May 7th of '89 when he beat Ricky Steamboat at Wrestle War in Nashville. Sting quickly moved out of the way.
Well, Flair's doing exactly what we thought he might do.
Snapmare by the Nature Boy. Measure Sting, goes back to the ropes. Momentum, but nobody home.
Watch out.
Now Sting trying to go for the figure 4. What a change in strategy. This crowd now is standing. They're anticipating Flair submitting here as the Stinger is using the Nature Boys on hold, and Flair quickly goes to the ropes.
He really turned the tables on the champion, Jim. I don't think Flair had any idea that Sting might try to do that.
Flair now pulling Sting outside.
That leg again, that left leg and that knee.
Taking it outside. Big chop. My God, what a chop. Sting's chest is a beaten red. There he goes to the railing. Back first, and he steps right back. He steps right back. Man to man, we're going to go here. The look on the champion's face tells a story. Flair says, wait a minute. And Sting now on top. It's Fist City. Straight right hands. And Flair, the great one, catches him coming in with a foot to the midsection. And now Flair upstairs, but the Stinger's got him. The Stinger has got him. Up he goes. Slammed him right off the top rope. But Flair fights back. Flair trying to hip block. Sting down under. Both arms cupped. Taking the shoulders to the mat. There's one, there's 2 and a half.
What a great match. 2 great competitors going at it. And Sting, the way he bounces back, it's incredible.
Sting thought the referee's count was slow. I did not. In any event, Flair took advantage of the moment and swept the leg right out from under him, going right for that injured knee. And isn't Ole Anderson quiet at far from ringside? There you see.
And there's the reason again, as he's still handcuffed to the big El Gigante. Nothing he can do but sit there and quietly watch.
Flair now measuring the knee, right on the knee. As flush on the knee as one could, like a bullseye was.
Jim, I think another important thing is that the dudes with attitudes around the ring, we haven't seen any of the horsemen around. That's another important factor in this match.
Flair now, straight right hand, or a kick rather, came with the right hand earlier, very effectively. Downstairs, not to the chest. Downstairs was effective. Sting rolling away now, using the ropes to pull himself back up. Well, Flair measures him, goes for some momentum, and comes right back at the leg. Sting now.
He's got Sting reeling.
Yes, he does, Bob. He certainly does. And Flair pulls him to the center of the ring. Spinning leg lock, which is a primary move before the figure 4. Sting kicked away.
Flair's got one thing in mind now, and that's that leg. Jimmy goes at it at every opportunity.
Ooh. Man, Sting's chest, he looks like he's been in a war, and he has. Nobody delivers those chops like Nature Boy Ric Flair.
It is certainly a war in that ring. Only the fittest are going to survive. And who's the survivor going to be?
Sting, I can assure you, will not submit, will not quit. Oh, Flair slapped him in the face and slams him in the chest.
Look at Sting.
Sting's just trying to reach down. He's trying to block out any pain, and Flair hits him so hard. He wants some more. He says, hit me again, and hit me again, and the champion is doing it. And look at his chest. The blood vessels have been broken. His chest is discolored, and Flair has given him all he's got. Will the knee hold up? Let's see. It held up, Bob. Amazingly enough, it did not buckle.
As he held him up to the air, even after all the punishment he'd taken on that leg, he was able to press him 242 pounds. And
ooh, good God. 2.5. I'm talking inches away.
Almost a new champion. As you said, just a matter of inches, and it would have been Sting, the world heavyweight champion.
Sting now with the right hands. The challenger sends the champion upside down the aisle, and Sting clotheslines him from the apron. Oh my God, what an offensive move. Big time offense by Sting. And the challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world now back in control.
He's got to be smelling that championship right now.
Standing vertical suplex. Sting on top. 1, 2. Flair kicks out.
Again at the count of 2. And again the champion refusing to be pinned.
Flair back in the corner. Irish whip. Sting now, because it's Stinger splash, and he got him with it. He got him with a Stinger splash. Oh my God, they're standing now in anticipation. Will we see the Scorpion Deathlock?
Yeah, no, what's he gonna do?
El Gigante. Ole Anderson wanted to come down.
He's got him in the Scorpion.
He's got him in the Scorpion. How much longer can Flair? Here come the Horsemen.
And there are the dudes with attitude.
There's a fight on the rampway, but Flair trying to crawl to the ropes. Ric Flair doing all he can not to submit. The dudes with attitudes said they were going to keep it one-on-one, and they are.
The Horsemen gave it a try, but they couldn't make it.
But how much longer can Flair hold on? He's in the ropes, but the damage may be done. The damage from the Scorpion may be done. The heavyweight champion of the world has trouble standing. Sting with a big right hand. The dudes with attitudes holding off the Horsemen as Flair takes two big right hands.
And Sting has it all going his way.
That shoulder block. He's got his feet on the ropes, and Scotty Steiner just tipped him off. Flair would have liked to have had it cheaper. He'd like to have any kind of victory at this point. Wait, he's got his screwball roll. 2.5. 2.5.
He's been that close several times now.
Side headlock by Flair. Head scissor by Sting. Sting gonna bridge up. Look at the strength of the challenger. He's got both arms covered. Can he get him over? Flair on his shoulders. 1, 2, and we're inches. We're talking inches from a new champion of the world. Look at Flair chopping with all he's got, and the challenger is standing tall. Flair, the Irish whip. Sting went for the knee. He went for the knee, and Flair moved out of the way.
Jimmy hit on that bad knee right on that turnbuckle.
Here comes Flair going for the figure 4. Sting's got him. Inside cradle. Could this be all? Yes! A new heavyweight champion of the world has been crowned. Sting has upset Ric Flair to win the heavyweight championship of the world. The Stinger has done it. The Stinger has done it.
Sting is the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and new world heavyweight champion, Sting!
Fans, there's nothing we can say right now. Take a look at this crowd and take a look in the ring. Here's another look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Sting went for the big knee, but Flair moved out of the way very adeptly. And then it was Flair who was going to go for his coup de grace, the figure 4. But here is the move that brought Sting the world's heavyweight championship.
Jim, when he was going for the figure 4, Sting was managed to get him into the small package and roll him up and pin him quickly for the count of 3. And there it is. And there he is with that world championship belt. What a champion he's going to make.
Many said it couldn't be done. Flair, without a doubt, is the greatest world's heavyweight champion of all time. But the Stinger, using an inside cradle as a reversal for the figure 4 leg lock, with his chest battered, with his leg, I'm sure, hurting, countered the champion for the 1, 2, 3. The crowd here, standing, they have seen history made here at the Great American Bash.
A tremendous bout and a bout of courage for the young man, who went in with a knee, not sure what it would do, whether it would hold up or not, how he would be able to stand up against a champion. Jim, all the many thousands of questions that we asked for all these many months, they all were answered there. And look at that.
The new heavyweight champion of the world. His friends are with him. Gordon Solie, I think, is standing by back there. Junkyard Dog there.
We're going to try to get Sting over. Hopefully Gordon's going to be able to talk to him, Jim. to get some of his tremendous feelings and emotion he must have.
Did it.
Let's go to Gordon now. Gordon, take it away.
Congratulations, Sting.
My mouth is really dry, so try and understand what I'm going to say. Ric Flair is the greatest world champion of all time. Me, on the other hand, I'm a champion tonight and tonight only. I've got some big shoes to fill in Ric Flair's shoes. Although we may have our differences, all I have to say is I'm going to do the best that I can do. And that's it.
This has to be the happiest moment of your life, wasn't it?
Ric Flair wasn't champion 6 times with the help of the Horsemen every time. He's truly a great champion. I know you don't want to hear it, maybe some of you, but it's true. It's a big accomplishment for the Stinger in his short career. Thank you very, very much, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Stinger, the new NWA heavyweight champion. Now back to Jim Ross and Bob Caudle.
Well, Bob, has been everything we thought it would be. These great fans here in Baltimore, as the Stinger comes back down the aisle here. And these are his fans. He won it for every fan, especially the little Stingers. These youngsters here at ringside with a pain on their faces.
And there's no doubt, and Jim, I think it shows you the mettle of the young man when he had those kind remarks to say about Nature Boy Ric Flair, that he had been the greatest champion of all time, and that he had the big shoes to fill, that he was going to have to live up to what the Nature Boy had done.
He is in the ring right above us. Fans are just about out of time. We have a new World's Heavyweight Champion crowned here tonight. Remember, our next pay-per-view spectacular that we'll be bringing to your home will be Halloween Havoc on October 27th, Bob.
Jim, that's going to be another great one. We look forward to it. I'll see you there. I'll be there.
Bob,
fans, write that date down.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our whole crew, for Gordon Solie, everyone at World Championship Wrestling Turner Home Entertainment, for Bob Caudle, I'm Jim Ross. We'll see you next time for World Championship Wrestling.